How much drinking is going on tonight? I want to know.
Not yet.
We're ready.
Ready.
There's Tom. Walter. It's a good view of Walter's studio. Yeah.
You're live. This is the Great Legend, and I'm
3D.
coming at you live from Comic Art Live, the third Comic Art Live that has been going on and taken the nation by storm. If you go to Comic Art Fans, CAF, comicartfans.com, you'll be able to see the full lineup for Saturday and Sunday, the whole schedule of Comic Art Live. And we're live now, and we're moments away from introducing so many great artists that are going to be taking a part in Comic Art Live's Drink and Draw, powered by the Hero Initiative. And right now, speaking of Comic Art Live and Comic Art Fans, the founder himself, Bill Cox. Bill, how are you doing tonight?
Well, Legend, I can't tell you how happy I am to be here and doing something that supports the Hero Initiative. I've been a proud supporter of their cause for a very long time. I used to host their website, did all their web development for a very long time, and I really believe in everything that they stand for and the help that they give to creators who didn't have a leg up, or the opportunity to make the kind of money that creators are able to do today. And so I'm really, being able to host this Drink and Draw and have it be a part of the show I feel really fortunate to do that, and I'm just so happy to have everybody here. The show, this is our third show, as everybody knows, and we've had more support and more people submitting artwork to this show than ever before. I know that when the show goes live tomorrow at 1 p.m. for the general public, there's going to be almost 4,000 pieces of artwork available for sale, which will put it almost double what it was in November. So it's really catching on, and I'm just excited to see how things go for the entire weekend. But for tonight, this is really all about the Drink and Draw and supporting the Hero Initiative. And I'm so glad that they were able to sell out of all the coaster art that they had put on their site for sale early on, and that this is just one thing that we can do to help the Hero Initiative throughout the entire weekend. And I'm glad to be a part of it.
Golly, Bill, we're so excited, and I know Jim is a big proponent of Comic Art Fans, original art. And we have a ton of folks out there right now on Comic Art Live's YouTube channel. Thank y'all so much for joining us tonight and watching y'all's main man, Bill Cox, kick things off here at the Drink and Draw. Bill, thank you so much. Hey, Bill, stick around.
I will.
If you want to do some drawing and some drinking and enjoy on some things. We're going to have a great time. But let's go ahead and get to our special guests of tonight. First, I want to give a big shout out to the surly hack himself, Hillary Barta.
How you doing? Hey, everybody.
So good to see you tonight. Next up, one of the fan favorites at any Drink and Draw I'm ever a part of, Dan Brereton. Dan, how are you, sir?
Hey, I'm good. I'm raring to sketch.
Glad to have you here. Next up, so excited, we have here tonight Jim Calafiore.
Hello, I'm here.
Good to see you, Jim. Another guy exciting to see. You can see this guy sketch it out with some of those Monday Night Wars, and I'm talking Sean Forney. Sean, how's it going?
Pretty good. Sorry you can't see me on camera. I can't get the other one to work, but hey, happy to be here and happy to help out and support a great cause.
Great to have Sean. Next up, we have Rodney Fike. Rodney, how are you doing tonight?
Doing good. Thanks for having me. Glad to be here and glad to participate in this awesome cause.
It's great to have you, sir. Next, we have another fan favorite of the Hero Initiative, Christian Gossett. Christian, how goes it?
Oh, real well, Legend. Good to see you again.
Good to see you, sir. Next, Brian Haberlin. Brian, how are you, sir?
Brian.
Very quiet is how he is.
I could have sworn I saw Brian here earlier tonight, but
He'll be back.
oh, there he is. I
Oh,
see
he's there.
Brian.
He's just muted.
Brian is here.
You gotta unmute your mic, Brian.
Hello.
Brian, we got you.
Hey.
Hey.
Hello.
The
Good
fact
to
that
see
I
you,
had to do
sir.
tech support for Brian is terrible.
Hello.
Oh my gosh. Next up, Brian's tech support guy, Tom Brady. Tom, good to have you here. You have some of the best support ever. All right, let's see here. And oh my gosh, my screen just kind of froze. I'm sorry about that. Next, we have Michael McCone. Michael, how are you, sir?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
Good, sir. Michael, great to see you. And we also have here tonight Tony Parker. Tony, how goes it?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you doing?
Doing really good. I see you already started drawing. Now, have you started drinking as well?
I'm actually the designated driver for the group.
That's what I'm talking about. That's the way to do it. All right. Thank you so much, Tony. And I don't know where she is at the moment. She may join us later. We're going to give her a shout out anyway. Jules Rivera. Jules, we miss you. Come hang with us if you're watching. All right. I have one of the legends. Actually, we're all legends because anytime any one of these people showcase their imagination in any of their artistic forms, that's legends because they're sharing that with the world. And I want to, big shout out to this guy, Walter Simonson. Walter, how are you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing fine, thank you. I'm delighted to be here. I'll do my best.
Walter. Thank you, Walter. So glad to have you. We have Thomas Fowler. Thomas, how are you, sir?
We already said hi to Thomas Fowler, didn't we? Or did you introduce me as Tom Rainey again?
Tom Fowler. No, Tom Rainey. Where's Tom Rainey?
For not reading his notes.
I know. The legend of legend not reading. All right. And I work at a library. I mean, let me tell you. But no, Tom Fowler, love having you here always, sir. Tom Rainey. Is Tom Rainey not here tonight?
He's here.
Tom Rainey. Well, Tom Rainey and Tom Fowler.
There's Tom. Yay.
Tom Rainey.
Hey, Tom.
Hey, Tom.
We're all
Tom
confused.
Rainey, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm only drinking, what is this? Coca-Cola Zero, too. That's how bad it is. Next up, we have a guy I butchered this guy's name last time. I won't butcher it again. I'm talking about Panda Red, Jay Morton. Panda Red, how you doing?
I'm doing great. It's awesome to be here.
So excited. A lot of folks behind the scenes are ready to see some of those coasters from Panda Red. So we're excited. Thank you, Jay, for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Next up, we have Harvey Pollyball.
Hello, guys. Morning. Good evening.
Morning.
This morning drink and draw on my part. This is like it's 9 in the morning, so it's like, yeah, this is so exciting to be part of this project. Yeah, I'm very, very excited. Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you, Harvey. It's like you might be drinking some coffee this morning then, huh?
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna get my mug, especially for this.
Awesome.
I bought like a beer mug, and
my
son told you're gonna drink beer now. Like he's 8 years old.
Oh my goodness. Oh
he's
wow.
In a Thor mug. It's a large beer bag. You're gonna get it in a while. It's gonna be 4 beers.
It's gonna be awesome, Harvey. Next we have Kaijo Valdezimo.
Yeah, turn your mic.
Kaijo,
I did.
how are you, sir?
Hello, everybody. I'm doing good. This will be fun. Let's have fun.
Yeah. We have Miko Swayan. Miko, how are
Hey.
you?
Miko. Thanks for having me.
Butcher these people's names.
Thank you, Miko, for being here. And
He is
big shout out, Jiggy from Next Comic Art. Jiggy, is Jiggy still with us?
Yeah, still here.
Jiggy, thank you so much as well for being here.
Well, thanks for having us.
The drink and draw. And I just want to say it's exciting to be here. And I just want to start out by letting y'all just talk a little bit amongst yourselves and enjoy. I do want to give, first off, I want to give the mic to Tom Fowler. Tom, How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing. Are you sure? It's me that you wanted to give.
I want the real Tom Fowler.
Oh, you're gonna get him.
Tom, what are you starting out with tonight?
I am starting out with Mystique turning into another Marvel character, and I grabbed, as I will be doing periodically throughout the evening, if I need any rando reference, I grabbed through my big book of Marvel things.
The humble brag.
And I also brought in my big book of DC things.
Awesome.
I got it.
You know, there's this thing called the internet, right? And you can Google.
But I'm using it right now to do this. And that's not. The internet's nowhere near as satisfying as those things.
Oh, of course not.
You could like kill a wolf with one of these. There's a lot around Canada. But yeah, so I decided to have her turning into Mr. Man-Thing.
Oh, that's
nice.
Whoa.
Oh, that's awesome.
But that's where I'm at, John.
Awesome, Tom.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's the legend. I'm sorry. I thought you were centrist.
Oh yeah, dude! Big shout out to John Sunders. There's a guy. He's got an encyclopedia for a mind. He's one of my guys I look up to as far as one of the best voices out there on the mic you'll ever hear is John Sunders. And every time I watch him on Word Balloon, it's like you're watching an A&E biography. That's how he rocks it, man, and it's so good.
Yeah.
Well, he's also the comics personality or the comics journalism personality I would most like to see as a Muppet.
Mm-hmm.
Picture John as like a purple gorilla teaching your kids how to spell. I mean, it's right there. You'll never think of him a different way.
Yeah. Shoot, after that, it would be like Good Night Gorilla by Peggy Rathman. I think I'd just fall over.
Yeah, he just starts talking about like how the Lone Ranger is related to the Green Hornet. Like kids would go to sleep and say, "I don't know, these people are sticks," and it just doesn't.
Those are the days of radio, the bygone era. I love it. And when I talk to John, we do talk a lot about old pop culture, and it's a lot of fun. I want to give some shout outs to Panda Red, Jay. How are you doing? You're hot off the heels from Mid-May Massacre. How was that?
That was a lot of fun. That was the first time I've ever got to host anything. And I gotta say, being on here, it is insane to be surrounded by so many people that I idolized growing up. As the one person in here who's not like an actual comic book artist, this is incredibly, it's an honor to be here. It's awesome.
It's so great to have you here too. We know you do some excellent work on TikTok where you portray some of these characters that these artists are going to be drawing tonight.
Indeed.
Surly Hack, Hillary Barta, how goes it? What are we working on tonight?
Well, I have several characters. I actually finished the Man-Thing. Can you see that?
Raise it up. There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
Barta's going full figure?
He's not going full figure. He's doing two
figure in a
4x4.
Uh-oh. I'm sorry, guys. I haven't done this before. I'm sorry.
Just eyes, Hillary. Just do big eyes.
That's me. I'm always screwing it up.
Let me go back to Panda real quick. Jay, what are you working on right now? Sorry, I forgot to get a sneak peek.
Oh, no worries. Currently, I am sketching out... You can't see that. Hold on. Currently, I'm sketching out a Deadpool right now. That I'm just getting the pencil sketches out for.
Looking really cool.
My favorite character of all time. I'm psyched.
Jay, he's deciding whether to shoot that bullet or do the sword, or maybe he'll do it at the same time.
Exactly.
That's so cool. Hey, I want to give a big shout and see what Brian Haberlin, what are you working on right now?
Well, I'm an overachiever, so I had most of these done already. So we have Spidey, and we've got Bizarro.
Oh, I like this. It's really nice.
Very cool.
And we've got Batman. Oops. Batman.
Wow, nice.
Sweet.
And we got
How dare you?
my friend Spawn. Let's see, where is he? There, it's his head. There he is. That way. And last, Angela.
Nice.
Oh, that's
Very
awesome.
cool.
And then I'm just going to do some bullshit extra one to get to you guys. I don't know what it is.
Tom Rainey, Tom, how are you doing? Which one are you working on? Who's your first you're going with?
First one, did up a Mystique.
Nice.
I like that.
And just starting on a Fin Fang
Tom,
Foom.
why are you trying to confuse people more?
Ah!
What's that?
Sorry, Tom Fowler. Is that Tom Fowler?
Even more.
I'm trying not to.
I'm sorry.
No, it reminds me of me hanging with John Sutters. That's how he does me. He's treats me like that. He's to me, John it really is a legendary host, and it's someone to look up to, and I always try to take little things that he does to get the show on the road. And to be a little better. Take some of the things he's taught me, and Chad too. By the way, Chad's always the quiet guy. Doesn't ever want to take no credit for anything. But it's good to be here. I want to give a big shout out to Miko. Miko, what is one of the ones you're working on right now? It's good stuff.
Character here.
Oh yes.
Nice.
Dark Knight, Batman. I tell you, I want to ask Walter something. Walter Simonson.
Yes, sir.
How many do you bang these things out pretty quick, or how long does it take to do one of these sketches usually?
Well, it takes about as long to look the reference up as it does to draw the sketch. I do use the internet, and I don't detail my stuff the way like those young guys like Dan Brereton do. When I just,
come on,
I just don't have that kind of level of detail in my mind. And some of them, and tonight, I actually don't have a full dance card. Jim got 4 of them to me. And there was a 5th guy who was going to get back to me about what he wanted and never did. So I ended up 4 of them. So I did 4 this afternoon, and actually this evening. I did one of them when we get started. And then I'm going to do 3 more. This is one of them, one of the 3 that I've done.
Oh, awesome.
Oh,
sweet. Just to I did, someone wanted Hercules with a beer.
Oh, that's awesome.
Nice.
So there it is. Somebody wanted Loki.
Oh yeah,
very good.
Loki, and somebody wanted Hela. So there were like a million different versions of her costume on the web. So I chose one I hadn't drawn before, a mask I hadn't drawn before. And then someone wanted. Oh, I'm going to lose the guy's name. Is it Tim Hunter? Is that right? One of the Robins.
Tim Drake.
Tim Drake. That was it. See, I did lose it. Wanted a Tim Drake.
Nice.
And so that's Drake. And it turned out he had a variety of costumes on the web. So I had to get back to Jim and say, which one of these costumes you guys want me to draw on this guy? The guy did get back to us, and I hope I've chosen the right one. There were a lot of variations. So I got 2 more to go. I haven't decided about those yet. I may do Darkseid because I always enjoy drawing Darkseid. And I may do my own version of Thor from Ragnarok, which should probably sell for about 20 cents because nobody knows about that book. So that'll just disappear down the tubes. But it will be fun for me to draw. So I think that's probably what I'm going to do. But we'll see. I've still got 2 to go. I'll figure it out.
Oh, it's going to be so awesome. I want to go to Christian Gossett. Christian, how's it going tonight? The God cam, if you will, right?
God cam. Yes, my Dungeons and Dragons cam. Yeah, I got a Joker going.
One of the clown prince of crime, one of the greatest villains of all time. Wow. I love the
nice. Yeah, that's nice.
He letters.
Gotta love it. He does. Dan, he's lettering too tonight. Dan Brereton, how are you doing, sir?
I'm good. I got a good group of sketches. I'm not drinking, by the way. I'm drinking water from my Pixar thermos. I learned back in just out of high school that drinking and drawing doesn't really mix for me. probably 1984. I was at someone's house. It was like midnight. I had had a few beers along with everyone else. And I thought, I think I'm going to try and draw and just see how that goes. And it went very poorly. And I learned a valuable lesson. So I'm not saying that I did. And that was drawing. I should say that was drawing while inebriated. So that's a whole different subject, I guess. But no, I just basically stick with water. And so my first one, while Walter was talking, I picked up this one.
All right.
The first one of the night, Frankenstein, one of my favorite characters to draw.
Nice.
And I because I had some characters I'd never drawn before, and one character I don't draw particularly well. I sketched these out ahead of time. So here's Cosmic Ghost Rider. I prefer just the regular Ghost Rider, but here's Cosmic Ghost Rider. Hobgoblin, who I've ever drawn before, it was pretty fun.
Whoa.
And then Ben Grimm, the Thing, who I'm eternally trying to get right. But
looks great to me. Ben Grimm, one of my favorites, probably was my most favorite Marvel character of all time. You gotta love the ever-loving blue-eyed Thing there.
So I did a couple of extras too, just in case. So I did a companion bride of Frankenstein, and also I'm doing the diamond.
I love your diamond style. Yep.
Yeah, the diamond. These are all diamond.
Elsa Lanchester would be proud, man.
So yeah, so I have my work cut out for me before I can have dinner tonight.
Heck yeah. Jim Calafiore, how are you doing, Jim?
I'm doing good. I got one done so far. I did a little drawing before. This is, I gotta adjust for this. This is Morbius.
Ooh.
Yeah, nice.
And I've got an Angela also.
Great. Yeah, Angela's awesome character.
Commissioner Gordon, which is going to be fun. And then I'm doing, right now I got a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
Nice.
I don't normally draw them, and I don't normally do color, but this was sort of simpler, so I'm in the middle of doing that.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And my last one is the choice between Spidey with half the face or half the mask. So Peter with half the mask, Darth Maul or Galactus, and I haven't decided.
Wow.
Darth Maul. I know Christian Gossett knows a little bit about that Darth Maul.
Just a little bit about that dude.
Mm-hmm. I want to go real quick, and we'll have to kind of come back to Christian on that, because that's one of the coolest things.
Yeah, I was going to say, you just
let's go ahead and go. Yeah,
we
can. I mean, usually like a comedian, maybe like Carlin, would come back to it. Of course, I ain't got the words that he uses. But anyway, let's go with that. You got to let them know, Christian.
All right.
Your Darth Maul story.
All right. So it is. I'm working for Dark Horse Comics. I'm working for Mike Richardson, and they have Star Wars at the time. So I am hired to do the first ever portrayal of the Old Republic in Tales of the Jedi, #1. I get #1 and #2 of the series. Wow. So excited. I'm in my early 20s. I am a zealot. I'm all about it. I can't even deal with what's going on. And so then it gets better. Then, hey, you're going to do a story 4,000 years before Luke Skywalker. So, did I freeze?
It could have just been me.
You're good now. You're out of the carbonite, as they say.
Right. So they say, so 4,000 years before Luke Skywalker. And I'm like, great, that's amazing. I can't wait to see the designs you guys have me to work from. And they're like, what do you mean? We don't have any. Naive that I was, thinking that they had done that. Right? So I get to it, and I in my mind I just had this fervor. It had to be like, if I'm going to do the first Old Republic, it has to earn the title Star Wars. It just can't look like Star Wars. It has to look like culturally 4,000 years before. And I love history, and I love military history. My dad was an artilleryman back in the service back in the 50s, and so I'm all about it. And I start doing a lot of research, and I'm like, how do you make Star Wars look that old? And so I went to Lucas's sources, Kurosawa and Joseph Campbell and Flash Gordon, and I start saying, okay, well, if for example, Luke Skywalker has a flashlight-looking lightsaber, then 4,000 years ago, those lightsabers are going to be far more individualized. They're going to be really unique per user, and that's where I go crazy. That's where I realize that's where I can really kind of help my readers feel like they're that far before Luke. And so I make them really look handcrafted like katanas. And if Jedi are samurai in space, and let's face it, they are, then the lightsaber's the katana. So I get all kinds of crazy stuff going. Double-bladed lightsabers, curved-handled lightsabers, bow and arrow lightsabers. I went nuts. And so Lucasfilm Licensing was like, hey, what are you doing with these lightsabers? What are you doing? No one said do that with. You guys said I had to do 4,000 years before Luke Skywalker. Did you guys not think about that has to look different? And they said, yeah, but I don't know. I'm scared. I'm a licensing person. So
yeah.
So it got as far as George. It got all the way to George. I said, listen, you show this to George. I bet you he'd like it. And so they said, all right, fine. You do a really nice version. We'll show it to George, and we'll see what he thinks. And he liked it. Now, here's how naive, and when I say naive, I mean dumb, I was. I sent the original drawing to Lucasfilm.
Oh, God.
That's how dumb I was. Because I wanted George to see it, right? I wanted him to see it at his best. So Sansweet has it. Sansweet has it in the archive, God bless him. And it, and that's where the double-bladed lightsaber comes from. Ian McCaig later told me the story of when they had designed Darth Maul, and he said, I remember the day George came in and we showed him Darth. We don't have a weapon for him, George. And George said, there's something in the comics. I'm gonna show you in a little bit. And there you go.
Wow.
Just another Liechtenstein type story. Comic book
and all that.
That's the story, everybody.
Freelancer rate. And you got freelancer rates for that.
Freelancer rates, baby. Freelancer rates.
Not just freelancer rates, Dark Horse freelancer rates. Anyway.
Dark Horse licensed comic flat rate rates.
The royalties were pretty good at the time. I bought a pickup truck off them royalties.
Well,
by the time I was doing Star Wars, there was no royalties anymore.
Yeah, that was sad.
So what are you complaining about? You got a truck.
Yeah, I did. I got a truck out of it, darn it. So and I still have a copy of the drawing, which is great. I have a really nice scan.
So I have a stupid question for you, Christian. So especially back in the day, people were not that great at getting right contracts. Did you actually sign away the rights to it?
It's funny. I took it to an entertainment lawyer, and they said, you could make a case. And I said, you know what, I could. Because I don't think there's.
No, I mean it'd be messy, but
it'd be messy, and I don't. He said that. She said there's no statute, and it would be fine for me to pursue, and they'd probably hush me up with some settlement. But you know what? They don't. I contacted Wired Magazine about it, and Wired Magazine said, "Hey, we're going to run this. We're going to put this image in there," and it was the first nationally published image of a double-bladed lightsaber. So there's no dispute that it's me. And I'll tell you, it's a great resume enhancer. I've gotten a lot of work from being that guy. So that's how I make up for freelance rates.
That's really awesome. Sean Forney, I see a great looking Venom there.
Oh, thank you.
Sean, are you excited for did you watch the new trailer for the Venom and the Carnage?
I did. I'm looking forward to seeing it. I had mixed feelings on seeing the first one, but I ended up enjoying it. So I'm sure I'll probably enjoy this one to some extent.
I tell you, the movie trailer, not the movie trailer, the poster itself, where you get the look of being inside Carnage as he's attacking Venom. That was really a cool effect, I thought, for bringing that movie to life on a poster.
Oh yeah.
Sean, that's a good looking Venom. Is that your first one of the night?
This is the first one of the night.
Hey, I have a question. Can my artist friends help me out with something?
Yeah, Christian, go ahead.
I don't think there are any artists here tonight.
Hey, should I darken in the space between the letters or the letters? Anybody?
In between the letters.
Where's
in
between?
I
always imagine
when in doubt, black it out.
I do the. I don't know if you can see it. I do the. I outline the letters.
Where'd it go?
On the draw there. I always do that. I do that on sketch covers too. I mean, it's a pain in the ass, but I go around the logos and everything.
That's awesome.
Rodney.
Hey, how we doing?
How are you doing, Rodney? What are you working on right now? Oh, the Black Cat.
Yeah, I turned around to get a marker and he slid right off the board.
Oh my gosh. Old Ted there. And one of my favorite characters. I just love a good fair character that does the pound for pound. One of the toughest on the block, you know, knocking them down until they drop him. He's just so cool. Whiskers too.
Yeah.
Make sure he turns the other guy's face nice and blue. Anyway, sorry for those rhymes. I'll save those for another time. But yeah, Rodney, is that your first one tonight?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I kind of was a little in awe watching everybody doing it, what they were doing, and I was like, oh, I guess I should start drawing now.
Yeah, I've been seeing the Wildcat come alive, you know, on the little Zoom call we got going on. You know, it's hard for me to follow or do this as a host because when you see so much cool art, you know, as a fan, you know, it kind of zoomed in and you zone out. And like I said, it's only Coke Zero tonight. But I wanted to ask Miko. Oh, Miko, wait, Miko. What, are you still on which one are you working on? Oh yeah, that's right, Batman, Miko. My bad, Batman. That's
I'm doing
awesome, dude.
I'm doing Batman right now.
You know,
do you mean my work?
Batman, for sure.
I'm doing right now for work.
Beautiful, man.
Damn.
God, Batman's just one of those characters, just greatest detective of all time, world's greatest.
Yeah,
Can we
it's
go
all shadows, actually.
That's beautiful. How about that second dragon? Let's take a look at that.
Yeah. Who is working on our Savage Dragon?
That one right there?
Oh, nice.
There it is, Tony Parker. That's right.
Yeah, that's
who I need to get to.
Nice. I think that's diamond shape.
First time I've ever drawn them.
Can you rotate it a little bit?
Nice.
I did this way, so it's got a really mean hunch to it, but works great that way as well.
Try it as a
First
diamond. Oh, there you go.
Oh, hey.
Yeah,
Welcome to the Diamond Club.
Yeah,
you're the one that does
right there. Yeah, that's
Dan.
Dan.
I remember last time we did that. You did the diamond thing. I'm like, well, I don't know because I don't have to like the collection. They might want to frame it this way, and then the composition, like, is just the perfect shape. I need to stop fighting it.
Yeah, but the thing that you can do is you can always mount them and then frame them. So you can mount it any way you want, right? Before you frame it. So there's my Hobgoblin.
The Hobgoblin looks awesome.
Nice.
Is that your first one, Dan?
Yes.
So cool, dude. So cool.
Nice.
I like him.
Mm-hmm. That's
I
going to
just
be
can't
a
remember
great
what color
addition.
his skin is. Does anyone remember what color his skin is supposed to be? Is it gray? It's not
I think
gray.
it looks just like that.
Yeah, green, yellow, or something.
Yeah. Well, I like it.
Yeah. Freaking
That was
awesome.
fun.
I think somebody's pizza is here.
I know, right?
I wish mine.
Harvey, how's it going right now? What are you working on, Harvey?
Yeah, static. So yeah, it's the first time that I also draw this character.
Oh, nice.
And,
really nice.
Yeah, I'll try to work around.
You're putting a shame. Stop.
And I put it in a large paper and just gonna cut it. So yeah, that's why I have to ask like what size it is.
That's beautiful.
And it's
stunning.
Kind of like really exciting to see you guys draw beautiful things in that very small space. And yeah, it's give you the challenge, and yeah, I think Tony Parker is giving everything. Like,
Didn't anybody tell you had to draw the logo in too?
You know, the guy who stuns me with that stuff, the lettering stuff on his sketches, is Dan Panosian. Oh my God! He'll throw those logos in pieces he's done for a drink and draw. I'll just go, you bastard!
You're just not busy enough.
Yeah.
That's...
Kaijo, how are you doing? What are you working on right now, Kaijo?
Hello. I'm starting with Black Cat. So
nice.
And then I'll do. I started sketching Batman. I'll ink that in a bit.
Mm-hmm. Well, those look freaking awesome. Michael
sorry, guys.
McCone.
Okay.
No, my bad, Kaijo. What's going on? No, what's happening?
No,
Those look
I'm
awesome.
just gonna say, it's the wrong size because I
Oh,
don't
okay,
know
yeah.
the rules
Yeah.
of the show. So,
Hey.
so maybe next time I'll do it on the right with the right size next time.
When there's alcohol involved, there are no rules, my friend.
Yeah.
Okay.
Looks awesome.
Thank you.
Dude.
Damn right.
Thank you.
Michael, I'm finally getting to you for the first time. Michael, how are you doing? What are you working on?
I'm doing well. I'm working on Null, who is I guess one of the newer Marvel bad guys.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, can we say that again?
Yeah, we disappeared.
No, he's
oh, there you go.
Oh, nice.
Wow. Nice.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Just sitting on the couch.
I didn't know this was in color.
It isn't.
No pressure. The pressure is on.
It's not. That's just insecurity.
Yeah.
Insecurity.
No, Mike, it's great to see you. Michael, I also saw in the background one of Michael Bond's finest creations, old Paddington Bear.
Paddington, long live Paddington.
I used to love Paddington. They did the newer movies. They had two of them, but I saw the original one with the actor from Downton Abbey, and that was a freaking funny Paddington movie, like CGI style, you know?
Yeah.
That was pretty decent.
What's the sequel? It's fantastic. It's
Yeah, that's the one
both
where he goes to
movies are
jail,
great.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I definitely got to see it. It kind of brings back memories as a kid when I used to watch old Ernest P. Worrell go to jail. That old fun guy.
They should
Hey,
send
Vern.
all characters to jail.
Yeah, Vern. That's right. I want to go over here real quick to Jay. Jay,
How's it
I
going?
tell you what, my friend, Deadpool is coming along nicely.
Thank you very much. This is a comfort character for me whenever I want to just kind of relax and draw and do details and stuff. I always love to draw Deadpool in my free time.
It's a good way for you to come down, after you do some hardcore acting, and especially if you're doing characters that really are intense, you can kind of come off that high and just do your other artistic skills, which are pretty freaking awesome, my friend.
Thank you. Yeah, you get used to 3D art like I do with my schooling and everything, and eventually 2D art just becomes the comfort food for you.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Thank you.
We don't have any ladies here tonight.
No, that's a shame.
I'll tell you. We had Jules, but Jules, I don't know where you are. Jules Rivera was supposed to be here. But sometimes that happens.
She is. I hope she shows up. Hope she can make it.
Yeah, same here.
She's freaking awesome. Always a barrel of laughs having Jules on, and just has some great comedic moments that are fun too. I just love like things that just off the cuff, and they're great. Comic Art Live. We're on YouTube, Comic Art Live. And
Hey, I have a question, John.
Look that up here.
I've got a question for Walter. If
Oh,
it's
yeah.
okay. Walter, I was asked to do a Gandalf, but not for this, but for something else. Someone asked me to do Gandalf, and I hadn't really drawn him very much. Hadn't had an occasion to draw him. I think the last time I did Gandalf seriously was for a Treehouse of Horror story, where the Simpsons get dropped in the Middle Earth, and so that was that was after the movies had come out, and so that was in my head and stuff. But I was looking at different versions, and the one that I always go back to is the version of Gandalf in the Hobbit TV show from 1977, I think it was.
76 or 77, Rankin Bass.
The TV movie.
Yeah.
And that's where I first fell in love with Tolkien and those characters. And later, when I was a kid, I had this hardcover book, which was like the art of the Hobbit, and it had people like Gray Morrow had these big, giant, fold-out battle scenes in there, and you're in there. There's a couple of pieces by you in there. And so I was looking online at pictures of Gandalf in that style from that. And if anyone hasn't seen the Rankin Bass Hobbit animated film, you got to see it. It's just amazing. It's one of my personal favorites. I think it's just so excellent. Anyway, so Walter, you were hired to work on that film, right?
That's right. Well, on the book, not on the film, but on the book itself.
Okay, so you didn't design the Gandalf for that.
No, all that stuff was designed by a friend of mine.
Now,
that's why I'm in the book.
Who is that?
There was a gentleman named Lester Abrams, who was 2 years ahead of me at RISD, Rhode Island School of Design. We became friends then. He was quite a wonderful draftsman, very elaborate work. And he, after he graduated, he ended up connecting up to Rankin Bass. I'm not sure how. And he ended up designing, I think maybe more than The Hobbit. Well, they did The Return of the King later, after that, and that was partly legal. I guess people here may know more about this than I do. I'm not a movie guy, but when you have a property for a movie, this is my understanding. If you have a property for a movie, you have to buy insurance for it because you might end up having to fight the rights or whatever. And so the insurance company goes over your rights pretty thoroughly. And Rankin and Bass thought they had the rights to the trilogy. And the insurance company said, well, we're not convinced of that, so we will insure the third volume with your rights, but we will not insure the first two. And that's why the second movie kind of comes out of The Hobbit more than out of the first 2 volumes of The Lord of the Rings. But Lester connected up to those guys somehow, Rankin and Bass, and ended up doing the design work for The Hobbit. And I think he did the design work, for The Return of the King as well. I'm less sure about that.
Well, have you noticed how a lot of that stuff has a sort of look to it? Like all the Rankin Bass stuff in the 70s has the 2D stuff has a look to it, including Thundercats. There's a villain character who's kind of a toad guy in Thundercats who looks like he was designed by the guy who designed Golem and drawn. So
it's possible Lester did other stuff for them.
Toad guy in Thundercats who looks.
But what happened was he designed the stuff, and after he designed it, Abrams Books decided about a large coffee table edition of The Hobbit. And they were going to illustrate it from the cartoon. And the cartoon is shorter than the book. I mean, the book, a lot of the book has been removed, edited out, because it's just a long book for a kid. So they wanted Lester to do drawings for it, and Lester really couldn't. Lester was very meticulous. He was very slow, and there was just no way he could do the number of drawings they needed for the Hobbit. And he suggested that I would be a good candidate for it because I was fairly facile and faster than he was. So they hired me to draw a bunch of drawings, and I couldn't draw all the drawings they wanted. I did about 40 drawings for that book. One of the fold-outs is mine, where the elves catch the dwarves in the forest. There's a chapter head that is the dinner at Elrond's, where Gandalf and Bilbo and a couple of dwarves and Elrond are eating at the table. And I went and looked up as much Viking food as I could, so I had Northern European food on the table. And but I couldn't do it all. So they hired some young guy named Charlie Vess. No idea. I don't know what happened to that guy. So he drew, I think that's probably some of his earliest work. He did some of the small drawings. And the drawings, some of them were large, some were small, some were in the form of storyboards, although they were just kind of fake storyboards to carry that look. And I had one drawing, it was a chapter head with the spiders, and the hobbits and the forest. And it was a chapter head, and then we were so pressed for time, I didn't have time to color it. So Charlie colored me on that one. He did the painting on that one to do the color. And ultimately, they hired Gray Morrow. They had another guy whose name I don't remember, Chuck something. I didn't know him, whose work's a little different. I used to be able to identify all the artists that were in it by their work.
Yeah, they don't tell you who did exactly what. And, another thing I have to mention real quick is that it isn't just an art book; it's the actual book. You can read the whole story.
It's the book illustrated from the cartoon.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
So, and none of Lester's actual drawings are in there. He just I think he did pencil drawings for everything. And but you can get a sense of what he did if you look at the beginning of that book. They have there's somewhere right in the beginning. There's a picture of Bilbo, and across from it there's another picture of Bilbo, and the one that's across is clearly the animated version, which is much simpler than the gnarled version on the other side of the page. And the gnarled version, this was all animated. I don't remember it. Japan maybe or South Korea. I can't remember back then where it was being done overseas. Mm-hmm. And some of Lester's drawings were essentially inked to get concept stuff to illustrators, figure out what to do with the animation. And that drawing of Bilbo is very much Lester's version of the character. And there are a few gnarled things like that in there. You look and you can see Lester's hand in it. But that was how that's how it came about. We were so late and I was so tired. At one point when I was in the office delivering art, I almost passed out. I had to go lie down in the conference room and lie down on some chairs for a little while, sort of get something to drink and kind of recover myself, and then go back. Go back home. And I was young. That was like you said, 76 or thereabouts.
Was it a well? Pay well?
It did. I do not remember. It didn't pay royalties. I don't remember what I got paid, but I was paid enough, so it was certainly worth my time to do it. The only thing I regret is that I did most of the color in Dr. Martens because they're fast, and because I'm pretty good at those. But of course, they're fugitive colors. They're not permanent. So on the wall behind me, in the hallway, which is through the door, I have that drawing of Elrond and the dinner at my house. I gave it to my parents after I did it. It hung in our dining room for many years, or in their dining room. And then after they were gone, I got it back. But it has faded a great deal. And I keep thinking, well, I've got the printed version in the book. Maybe I should get some acrylics. I'll thin them down to watercolor consistency and recolor match the color as close as I can. I haven't had the nerve to do that yet, but it has faded quite a bit.
Well, that's one of the things with Charles's colors, right? I mean, Charles uses like lacquer inks. He uses an odd ink when he's doing his paintings, doesn't he?
I don't know what he was using even in The Hobbit. It was just whatever. I think we were going so fast, it was whatever you had to hand.
Yeah, no, he uses full-on ink, and as far as I could tell when I spoke to him about it very briefly once, but he had his whole setup out. They were all very archival. It was all. It was the good stuff.
Oh.
I don't see Charles Vess as being somebody.
I don't either.
Cuts corners.
Well, it's sometimes a matter of what you know, though. It's like some people don't know.
Oh yeah, I mean,
we were all young then. That was pretty.
Yeah.
That was. Yeah. I was 4 years into my career when that happened. So.
Yeah, if you're like an art school brat, that stuff gets beaten into you pretty early.
That didn't take
and then eventually you have an art teacher who sets you straight and says, like, do you care if this stuff is around in 400 years? And then you can calm down a little bit.
That was about right. Well, I took one painting course and I was really awful at it, and the teacher wasn't great. And I decided that was not where I wanted to go. So I haven't done very much color work. One thing I did do was for the Lord of the Rings, for the Return of the King from Rankin Bass. That was back in the days before videotape and before presentations that would be elaborate computered PowerPoints and stuff like that. And they used to have drawings. They'd have an easel up in the front of the room, and they'd have sponsors there, and you'd pitch the idea of doing this to the sponsors, and you would have drawings on the easels, and you'd swap them out, put new drawings up. And I ended up doing more work for Rankin Bass, really because it was faster than Lester could do it. So I designed a bunch of characters for The Return of the King. And I did about maybe a half dozen color illustrations in the style of the Rankin Bass cartoons for The Return of the King. And those I've kept, they've been in the dark all this time, so they're still pretty bright. if you're on Facebook, I have a thing called the official Walter Simonson page, which passes as my website. And in it, I've done a lot of Lord of the Rings drawings over the years, just for different things. And in it, I have a Lord of the Rings folder or gallery. And in that, there are some of the color pieces I did for Rankin Mess. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, Dan, say something so you'll come on the screen.
Yeah, this is just a page. Here's the book.
But that's very much Lester's Bilbo.
This is the same copy I've had since I was a kid. And when it came out, it had a plastic dust jacket. And so in this artwork where you see the dwarves and the party on the sides of the Misty Mountains, the dust jacket was clear, but printed on it was smog attacking them.
Oh, nice.
Like an animated cartoon.
Over the years, that came off and it got wrecked, but I still have a copy. And I didn't realize there was so much of this was you. I mean, I used to go through and wonder because they don't tell you exactly who did what, but
they gave me a lot of reference, and I'm not a bad style mimic, and especially in line. The only thing that really still annoys me is early in the book, there are little pictures all across the bottom of one of the pages, two of the pages, of the 13 dwarves. And so
that's your friend's work. Yes,
that's probably based on his work. I'm sure that's true. But they had all the dwarves, and I think it was Philly and Killy, and they only had one of the two of them. I don't remember which one. And so I did another drawing, kind of identical, different position, of that dwarf. But I only had black and white reference on the character.
Is that your Gandalf?
I don't think, you disappeared again, so I don't think it is. I think I did do some Gandalfs, but not that one.
They really did make it seem like you were looking at production art. I always thought this was production art. Even though when I was a kid, I had that feeling because, like you said, they made some things look like they were storyboards or something. And
I think there is a lot of production art there, but there's also a lot of art designed to look like production art.
Right.
In the drawing of Philly or Kelly, whatever I did, I only had black and white reference. So I did him, he came out perfectly. But if you look at the line of dwarves, the really annoying part, I didn't have a color on it, is that the beard, I think it's a blonde beard with gray lines through it. And I didn't know that. So in my version, he has black lines through his beard. And that was very annoying at the time to not be able to match up with the other drawings. But you live and you learn.
So you did the Elrond. Here's the Elrond piece that you were talking about. That you said is on your wall. So
that's right.
Say something.
Pretty awesome. I stared at this a lot when I was a kid. There you go. I looked at this book so much, and I can't believe that it's still intact and not in pieces. You did the Mirkwood one with the spiders. Did you say
the chapter head with the spiders? Chapter illustration, the title illustration.
I have to show you guys.
That's me, colored by Charlie.
I think this one's Gray Morrow. I'm not sure, but it's amazing.
No, there was a guy. That's the guy named Chuck, whatever his name was. His stuff has a stronger line quality, and there are several drawings like that you can tell are his.
So good,
Chuck. There are credits in the after the title page. It says illustrations by blah 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 blah. Lists us all.
Doesn't list them,
but it doesn't systematize them. There's a drawing of little figures. There's a drawing toward the end of Gandalf standing in between the three armies with a lot of men's little figures with the dwarves on one side and the elves on one side, the men on one side, and a small Gandalf in the middle. And that's one of mine.
Yeah, this book is amazing. It's funny when you were talking about the Return of the King. I always thought that the Return of the King was the unofficial sequel to Ralph Bakshi's Lord of the Rings because it kind of picks up where that leaves off. And if you watch the two together, you kind of get a more complete story.
Right.
But I guess that's not the case. That's interesting.
Well, it was the official sequel to The Hobbit.
This one I used to copy all the time. I used to copy the heck out of this drawing.
Oh, yeah.
It's just so amazing. And the style is so amazing. You guys can see.
That's probably pretty related to Lester's original.
There's even marks on the paper where I traced over it on another piece of paper or something. Nice. Drawing all the time.
I used to do that in books I liked.
There's just, if you guys can track this down, I don't mean to hijack this whole drink and draw.
What's the title? What's the title of it, Dan?
It's The Hobbit. is Gray Morrow's.
Just the Hobbit.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to wrangle this book, but
It's the Hobbit, you dumbass. Haven't you been listening?
I mean, I'm looking online right now, and I'm finding several books. So
it is also available. I have a soft cover of it that I found. I have a soft cover
Yes,
of
they
it.
did do
that I
a soft
found at
cover of it.
bookstore years ago.
Yep.
So there are options. I mean, there's a cheaper version of it. If you're
I think that's Gray Morrow's triptych there. That's
He's
great.
actually
The other one's mine.
You know it's Gray because he signed it. You can see his signature. It's one of the few
Also,
things.
some of the heads are clearly gray.
So you did the other one. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Where
Beautiful
the
stuff.
elves are in the forest with the dwarves, where they're capturing them.
He really seemed like he enjoyed doing that piece. So you had another fold out here?
Yeah, before that. So, well, wherever the elves are in the forest and the
okay.
dwarves are,
Yeah, right.
and the elves catch them.
The wood elves. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, I think you can even find the hardcover for it. Oh, here it is. Oh, and then I'll put it away. Okay, guys. I just wanted to show. Oh, this is so cool. This is Walter's fold out.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Ooh.
Oh my.
Yeah, I don't think that's in the soft cover.
Look at that.
You know what they did? They broke it in parts in the soft cover. They didn't make a gatefold of it. They put it on 2 or 3 different pages, so it's not. You can't link it up.
Well,
actually,
also
one of the
flattened
drawings,
the,
the guys at Abrams weren't used to dealing with original artwork because they dealt with film. You know, you took photographs of the art. That's what the artist mostly turned in, transparencies. And so the art director had all the stuff. And one of the drawings I did do was the drawing of Bilbo discovering the Arkenstone. It's not a full page shot. It's a little illustration. And he finds the Arkenstone. It's Bilbo, the Arkenstone, and the caves around him. And when I got the artwork back, that drawing was missing.
Oh, wow.
I had to give it to my parents, and it was gone. And because the art director, it hadn't really occurred to him, and I didn't really blame him, it had not occurred to him to lock the original artwork away because he dealt with it so rarely. And so that one disappeared, and he was mortified. So he paid me. I got paid $200 for it. I remember that. $200 for that one drawing. So he paid me the $200 again, and he got me a transparency of because they had to make them in order to clear. So he gave me a transparency and said that if the drawing ever turned up, he would return it, but it never happened. That one disappeared, but I got the rest of them back.
Our returns were pretty murky back then, huh?
Well, it was just, it was fun. It was really fun to do. It was exhausting. It was fun to work on Tolkien stuff, even if it was somebody else's design.
Yeah.
And Lester was a wonderful designer. He did great work for it. So.
Well, yeah, to say, if you're going to be working on design, I mean, who wouldn't want to play around in that, that visual universe? Because it's just amazing. And I don't think it's that hard to find the hardcover book. Look on Abe Books.
It's not cheap for the hardcover. I'm looking at the cheapest price is $3.95. But you can get a paperback for $21.
If you look to the hardcover, one of the things you're going to find is that acetate book cover.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing.
That ages, and the acetate ages, and it cracks.
Yeah.
So you're probably going to have trouble finding one of those books with a complete dust jacket in the acetate. It's like a cell vinyl, so it's got it's got smog coming around the mountain above the dwarves. But it's hard to find that in a non-torn fashion.
It falls apart for sure. Mine fell apart. But yeah, it's definitely worth. I mean, getting at least in paperback. I treasure that book, so I'm just glad I didn't have to buy it again.
The weird thing is, when you mentioned the acetate, I actually think I had the book as a kid, and God knows where it is. But as soon as you mentioned that acetate, I remember that with the dragon on it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, whatever happened to it?
Garage sale.
It was pretty cool.
The garage sale.
Well, Dan sort of brought up something there, Walter. I mean, back in the day, how many books did you not get the artwork back for? Did you get it back for everything?
I got into comics in August of '72. And at that time, comics companies were not returning artwork, except for Gold Key. They didn't tell people that they would return it. And I ended up, when I was first working, Gold Key was across the street and down the block from where DC was. and my very early work was for DC. And I had a couple of friends, writers, who worked at Gold Key. So I went down the street, went into the office, showed them my stuff. It was really very different from anything they published. But they had an editor, a young guy named Frank Tedeschi, and Frank liked what I was doing, so he would give me a 4-page Twilight Zone job, which was one of the Twilight. You know, they'd have a lead story. They were all 6-page stories with a 4-pager in the middle, and because it was 4 pages, you didn't get to draw Rod Serling. It was just a little. So I did 2 of those. A couple of friends of mine wrote them, and I was getting, I think, about $40 a page for pencils and inks. And then he liked what I was doing, so then he gave me a 6-page job.
Wow.
John Warner wrote, and it was really a fairy tale. And so I drew that. I have to say, I drew the crap out of it, or at least I tried. It's one of my best jobs in my first year or 2 in the business. Nice. It's all ink and pictographs. I tried to emulate the black and white illustrations of Howard Pyle in the King Arthur book.
Wow.
I didn't try to do the heads the way he drew them, but I tried to draw kind of the tone work. Again, it was going to be colored, so I didn't put as much stuff into it. But that was the work that I was inspired by. And I had the Dover editions of the Howard Pyle Arthur books, 2 of them. And so that was really my model for what I wanted to do with that. And I don't know if this is the only case. Somebody out there will know the answer. Anybody's watching this, put it on my Facebook page and let me know. I drew Rod, and because it was a fairy tale, I put Rod in a medieval costume with a codpiece. Now, it was all, the codpiece was pretty well rendered up, so you couldn't really see much of it. But he has a clay pipe. He's smoking a clay pipe. He's sitting on a toadstool, like a giant toadstool. And then at the end, there's a close-up of his head. Everybody got the same 2 shots of Rod to work from, which is why all those drawings are pretty much all done from the same shots. Nobody had stuff off the television back then. But, and I thought about it much later. I thought, I'll bet nobody else ever put Rod in anything except a suit. I don't know if Rod ever appeared in any, maybe he did in the comics somewhere. But I think you're right about that. You know, they didn't say anything when I turned it in. Frank didn't give me a hard time. Nobody went, oh, we can't put Rod in a medieval, John Buskin or whatever the hell they were called. But that was one. And then somewhere in there, I discovered that Gold Key would give you the artwork back if you asked for it.
Wow.
So I asked for the artwork, and I got all 3 jobs back. And it's awesome. I was delighted. And then Marvel and DC began getting artwork back. They quit destroying it. I heard a story about that, but I don't know if it's true. In any case, they used to destroy it. They would just chop it up in a paper cutter and throw it away. And, there was so much of it coming in. Where could you put it? So they quit destroying it. It was in cupboards, it was in closets, it was in shelves under the cabaret. It was just everywhere. And ultimately, for whatever reason, around 75 or 76, both companies decided to give the artwork back, and they went through everything.
That's because Bill came selling it all.
I got back almost everything I drew, except for 2 chapters.
Yeah.
Nice.
2 Manhunters didn't come back, and eventually one of those turned up about 2 years later. And the other one I've never seen again. No one I know has ever seen it. I've met people who claim to have met people who've seen it, but I've never actually met them.
Which one was the
second chapter? Where a tiger is leaping down on top of Manhunter in a boat's the bilge. So it'd be nice to find that one again. But I'm not greedy. I was lucky to get as much back as I did. I got my very first job back. I got pretty much all my stuff back. The only thing that was funny was I had done some of my very first writing in comics. I used to have things called battle albums in the war books at DC. And that would be a single page pin-up of a Panzer tank, a Jag Panther, or whatever it was, a Marine with his World War II uniform, and a little caption. And I drew a picture. It was Archie Goodman was the editor. And so he was giving me work. So I did a 2-page spread that was a single sheet of paper of the German battleship Tirpitz, which was a sister ship of the Bismarck. The Bismarck is much better known. The chase of the Bismarck's pretty well known. The Tirpitz was probably more important in the war because even though it never came out seriously into the Atlantic, the very fact it was there diverted a ton of resources that the British needed elsewhere desperately to try and keep it bottled up. Right. And so I drew the Tirpitz with the Wellington bombers coming over, a very small Wellington bombers. And I got that. I wrote the caption. So I made my first actual writing in comics. I'm sure I got paid $5. And I got paid more for the drawing. And then when I got that one back, it had been cut in half. Because I think well, it was on different flats, and so it was cut in half so I could photograph it and put it on different flats in the book and different printing signatures. So, but otherwise the stuff came back and it was in pretty good shape. So I have no
great.
I have no.
That's great.
Walter, I have a question. Remember Marvel art used to be cut in the corner?
Yes, it was chopped all up.
Yeah, and somebody said the stat machine, because of the way the stat machine worked, they had to cut the corner of the art out. I
will tell you the truth. I should have asked Danny Crespi or somebody who was at Marvel in the old days what that was about. Because I had a lot of old pages. I mean, it's not just the corners. Sometimes the whole top is chopped down and up just right to the live art and then back up again. It's all kinds of chunks taken out of it. And I do not know the reason. I have asked people. I haven't asked old enough people, I'm afraid. I didn't think of it when I was younger. And so I've gotten different stories. I've gotten some stories like the stat cameras, trying to clip stuff to get things to fit. I've also been told that they would make a notch out of it once it had gotten past a certain point in production, because that would let people know that, okay, this has gone through whatever stage of production this has to be. And there were one or two other stories I don't remember anymore. And the stat camera maybe, but why they would cut notches out of the side of the paper, I don't know. So I've never heard a completely convincing answer to that question. I have wondered about it.
What a terrible thing, though, to think, okay, to tell people that this was done with whatever stage of production, we're going to hack up the art, as opposed to just making a mark on the back of the page.
Well, back in those days, man, the art had no value.
No, I understand.
And it didn't, nobody cared. Well, I mean, some guys did care. But really, I mean, it's hard to explain to someone now who sees art going for gazillions of dollars. But it was really, I mean, that's why when DC used to chop it up, they didn't give a second thought about it. I mean, in the 50s or early 60s, you could write a letter to DC. And if you wrote a letter and got credit, they'd say, well, that was a great letter. We're going to send you half of what was the Adam Strange book? Not Journey to the Mystery, The Mystery in Space. We're going to send you half the artwork.
Holy shit.
God. I think both Len Wein and Marv Wolfman got artwork from DC by having been letter hacks and written in.
Oh my God.
We're sending this, they would send a letter column. That was a great letter. We're sending you half the artwork from this job.
I wrote into Charlton. They never sent me any artwork.
I had 4 letters published in Marvel Comics. I didn't get any artwork back either.
I used to send Marvel pictures of characters that I drew when I was like 9 or 10, and I'd say, "This is so and so. You can have him. You can use him if you want. All I ask is that maybe you send me some sketches that are laying around, because I imagined all these guys working in the bullpen and then using little pieces of sheets of paper, little like sketches on, and then maybe throwing them away or not. I thought maybe there's something you're going to throw in the trash. They could just send to me. So I would keep sending stuff to them, letters and drawings to them with this fantasy in mind. And then about 3 years later, I finally get something from Marvel, and it has Spider-Man's on the envelope, and I'm super excited. I can't believe it. I open it up, and it's thick. I'm like, oh, what's in here? It's like something substantial. I open it up. It's a little pamphlet for Marvel merchandise that I can order.
At least you got some response.
Yeah, that's better than I thought. I thought it was going to be, please stop.
That would have been great.
That was better for the Marvel lawyers. Yeah.
I'll tell you one more story. I'm bored by my stories. I have one more story about that, which is kind of similar.
Hey, well, we could do 12 of these, and we would still want more stories.
Never bored. Never bored.
Why do you think I back?
Fortunately, Wheezy's not here because she's heard all these stories a million times. But
we love them.
When I first discovered Marvel Comics, I told this story in interviews. I was in college. I found 2 issues of Thor, Journey to the Mystery, on the stands at the same time.
Wow.
And I read them, and they were the first 2 parts of what turned out to be a 4-part story. And so I read them, and I thought I'd never seen Marvels really before, and I read them, and I was a big Norse mythology fan. So the fact that it was a comic about Thor, I didn't care his hair wasn't red. I didn't care he wasn't wearing iron gauntlets. I didn't care he didn't have any goats. I just went, holy crap, it's Thor. And so I read these comics like a million times. And at the end of the second comic, Thor is battling the Absorbing Man. And the Absorbing Man, at some point, they're getting ready for the climax of the fight, kind of backing away. And then suddenly a little kid runs out in the road. And Thor turns away and says, oh, I have to save this child. And picks the kid up and puts the kid over in the side of the road. And bam! Gets hit in the back of the head by the Absorbing Man's ball on his ball and chain, and clocked and is lying on the ground. And the Absorbing Man is there with his arms raised. Ha ha! Only a guy as strong as Thor could beat Thor. And I didn't know much about those kind of comics. I knew nothing about Marvel comics. You know, I'd read like Donald Duck and Uncle Scrooge, all the stuff in the 50s, none of which were continued stories. So I got to this, and I went, holy, well, I won't say that here on this broadcast. Holy cow!
Too late.
Yeah. Holy cow! Gee, wow! And so, Jiminy Cricket. And so I haunted Augie's Tobacco Shop, which is where comics came in, for like weeks, and never found the next issue. And finally, enough time had gone by, I knew I had missed it. I knew it was gone. And I went, oh, no. And so I wrote a letter to Marvel Comics, which I fortunately do not have a copy of, because watching a semi-grown man groveling would simply be too unbearable now. But I wrote them and I said, is there any way I could buy a copy of this from you? This is before I did. There were some dealers in their mom's basements back then. And but they had ads and comics, but in like 3-point type. I didn't know about that stuff. I didn't really realize what was going on, and there were no comic shops. So I wrote them a letter. Could I buy a copy? Could I? And time went by, and then the 4th issue. I found it on the stands. And found, it's the same story. And I read it, and then I thought, gee, I wonder what happened in the middle, because it seemed like it picked up right from the end of issue 2. I thought, what just happened? But I've read the end of the story, and then one day, I get an envelope in the mail, a pristine envelope.
Spider-Man stickers on it?
From New York. I had just a little envelope. Didn't have a pre-printed spider, anything like that. It was from New York City. And I don't remember if it said Marvel Comics on it or not. I don't recall. I opened it up, and inside was a brand new copy of Journey to Mystery 122.
Wow.
The issue I had missed. And in it, there was a little blue card, like a 6x3 or whatever standard would be, longer than wide, and it was pre-printed. So it said "Dear," and there was a blank, and it was like script. It was printed. Thanks for letting us hear from you. Glad you like the comics, Dan and the gang, or something like that. And somebody written in pen, "Dear Walt," and at the bottom of this note it said, "Couldn't let you down. Thanks for your note. Couldn't let you down. Hope you enjoy the comic."
Wow.
And I was a solid Marvel Comics fan from that second.
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah. Wow.
And, I've kept the note. I've kept the comic. I did staple the note into the comic. I don't regret that. No. It's like, it's like now they'd go, oh no, don't staple it. But, it's all together. So one day.
Wow. Do you have any idea who sent it to you?
I took it to the office, and I got a hold of Flo Steinberg, who was back at Marvel at that time. I got in the know Flo. And I said, is this your handwriting? And she looked at it and says, yes, it is.
Wow, man. Love it.
And
that's awesome.
So Flo Steinberg is one of about 4 people completely responsible for my career in comics. Wow. And she was just the sweetest thing.
Awesome.
And she had, my letter apparently had moved her to put a comic in an envelope mailed off to me. So I can't thank her enough.
Thank you, Flo Steinberg.
Wow.
I could not get enough Flo stories. There's not enough about Flo at all. Seriously.
That's true.
That's true. No, she's great. I mean, she was a major player in the early Marvels. And she'd gone away for a while. When I was first at Marvel, she was not there, but she came back and was a proofreader for a while. And so I got to know her then. And of course, a lot of my friends were really close friends of hers.
McLaughlin and I were talking about that. about. I said, dude, you got it. He had told me some Steinberg stories that he had picked up, and I said, Jim, you have got to do it. You're the guy. You know everybody. You can completely like make this happen. And he was going to interview her, but she passed, and it was so sad.
I know, it was really sad.
Yeah,
that was really a tragedy.
Talk about someone who knew it all.
But she was a delight to know, I have to tell you.
I believe it. I've never heard anything but stories like that about her. Just these great.
I have 2 more drawings. I'm finished.
Yeah, let's go over these. Let's see what we got here.
I decided I didn't really like that first Thor drawing I did, so I did a second Thor drawing I'm much happier with.
Awesome.
Yes.
I may just toss the other drawing out so nobody else will ever see it. And I did a Dark Side.
Dark.
Because he is my favorite villain in comics. He is the world's best villain in comic books.
He's got that brow.
Yeah. Yep. And that laugh.
And Doctor, I have a question. Does everybody have 4 or 5 assigned cards?
5.
5. I just did 2 more.
Okay, because I have 4 done. I guess I'm missing a 5th one I didn't catch, so I'm gonna have to do that later. But I'm gonna show you what I did because I have to go. Family's waiting. But here's my Ben Grimm.
Oh, nice.
Nice. Almost went into the woods with the blacks, but I pulled it out with the color. Cosmic Ghost Rider.
Nice.
Wow. Such a kind of fun to draw. And then I went back and got a little bit of background color to
badass.
And then Frankenstein.
Cool.
The monster, the creature. So they were fun.
Dude, those are awesome, Dan.
Thank you. That was fun. You guys blow. One thing I always take away from these is that there's no time when I've done a drink and draw where I haven't gone away from it going, God, those are so good. Not the ones I did, everyone else's. To see the amount of detail, and everyone's got a different approach, because I like to draw a certain size, and when I get these coasters, I don't get to paint faces that are usually this big. So to be able to open it up like that is actually a treat for me. It's not my cup of tea to want to do that, because I'm doing a lot in covers, especially if there's more than one character on it. So this is a great release. This is a fun exercise.
I'm sorry, Dan. I kind of wish. No, I cut you off right at the very end. I kind of wish that those horrible sketch covers that we get sent were made out of the same stuff as these coasters. I love this stuff. I love drawing on this stuff.
Agree with
great.
You. This is the cheapest crap paper, but somehow
I know
it works. It picks up the watercolor and stuff. It's really fun with watercolor. I mean, it's not like the vibrant, but yeah, I enjoy drawing on these much more than the sketch cover stuff or trading.
Like a little wash is really easy to throw onto these things,
I've found with the sketch covers, I have to abuse them past the point of any grading system.
Oh yeah, some of those papers are horrible.
Which I take a certain amount of pleasure in, because if you're, I don't like any of the grading stuff, and if you're coming to me to do like a painting or a drawing on a sketch cover, I like using the front and the back.
Oh yeah.
I like to do an A-B gag. So like, there's a drawing on the front, it kind of makes sense, but when you open the whole thing up, there's a full gag that reacts from one thing to the other. And if you're getting the thing slabbed, that goes away, right? So I, almost a self-defense, I'm like, just go to IKEA and just frame it flat.
Yeah, that's true.
I just abuse the hell out of those things, and as I do it, because you can see my studio. I'm a sneeze away from being a hoarder. So I'm a messy man, and so one guy came to me because he was specifically going to get them, and this is a dealer, was specifically going to get them slabbed, and when I handed him back the comic, I handed it back to him in about 3 different pieces, because the interior page spreads had come out because they rubbed the staples on the board so much. It's like, well, yeah, so here's this part and this part. It's a little folded and there's some ink on it, but it's a nice cover.
That's it.
Maybe that's a new thing where we you dismantle the comic and it becomes an object of art. You know?
Well,
Just becomes a
that's
statement.
that's what I do. I mean,
yeah, mounted on
but
three-dimensional.
I'm going to show you my guys so far. Sorry.
Yeah, Tom, let's see yours.
All right. So there's Ming the Merciless.
Wow, that's
Nice.
awesome. Very nice.
There's Boom Boom.
Awesome.
Hey.
Great.
Who?
I remember her.
Boom
She
Boom.
draws for a living.
And there's the end of that.
Yeah.
Oh, that came out really well. It's
Wow.
nice.
Thing.
To the man thing.
Dicky.
That's 2 man things, or 1.5 man things.
Man thing, of course, very popular.
Start the man thing over here. I thought I would do an extra one. Maybe I'll do one while we're talking. This one wasn't. This one, no one ordered it. I just like drawing it.
Just write penis joke across it.
Yeah.
And then we'll have 2.5 man things.
Hey, Surly Hack, I have to ask you a question. And if you can't answer it here, I totally understand.
Is the FBI listening? I don't know.
Well, I was always curious because you were doing the Image parody books back in the day.
I did one, yeah.
You did one, but there was supposed to be another one, right? That was canceled at some point.
I was working on the second issue, and yeah. There was going to be another one, but we wrote the stories. I drew some art. It got canceled. Hey, I made too much money on the first one. I wasn't going to finish the second one.
Well, I think the second one already had like over 100,000 orders.
Oh, is it really? Is that true?
I'm pretty sure.
Well, you know more about it than I do. Wow. Okay. Well, that's disappointing. I mean,
But did you understand why it was canceled?
Well, I mean, they canceled it. If I had got it done before that, it would have been published. Okay, so it's.
Oh, okay. So you gave them an excuse?
Yeah, I gave them an excuse, but no, at their, I don't want to dump on Image. I made more money in that comic than anything I'd ever done. It was a great deal. Like, okay, we'll pay for the printing and you make everything else.
Yeah. No,
but,
and they're my home for publishing, so all my stuff.
Yeah,
is...
well, Image is a different company now, but back then it was still the the original guys, and they were like, maybe we should. We're doing too much. Maybe we should cut back, and they were just rethinking just the free for all that they were at the time. And just about anybody could bring their buddy in and do a book, and I guess I was somebody's buddy, so.
Okay.
I got the axe,
Got it.
I remember there's a quote from Todd saying something like, "Yeah, that book was stupid, so we killed it." Todd McFarlane's joke.
Christ.
Hey, I the reason I parodied Spawn is nobody else had drawn 3 issues, right? I mean, they were all doing the same thing. They were making millions of dollars, and it was pretty hard to draw when you're making that kind of money.
Right. Okay.
Surly Hack, what do you have so far on your coasters?
Mine are done. I cheated. I also got a head start. So
that's right.
There's Splash Brannigan. There you go, Splash Brannigan. Is that you see that guy?
Wow.
Badass.
Wow.
And then
Yay! Plastic Man.
That is awesome.
And I guess somebody knew I drew Elastic Heroes because they asked for Elongated Man.
Oh, Ralph. Yeah. Nice. Through the legs.
I've never drawn Elongated Man. Mm-hmm. And I showed you guys the man thing, but somebody asked for a character. I did not know this guy. His name is By
Beast.
Yeah.
By Beast is a rather unfortunate name for a macho supervillain. It's like, I am By Beast. But it's not what you think.
His head is on the tower in Thor Ragnarok.
That's right. That's right.
I did not know that. Okay.
Which is really odd.
Surly, those are freaking awesome.
Yeah.
How about you?
I do most of them full figure. I apologize.
Yeah. No, that's great.
Next time, I'm going headshots.
Those are great.
No, it's big eyes.
This is
it's
why
just
nobody
eyes.
likes you, Hillary.
I'm just throwing off the scale here or whatever.
That's awesome. No, that's great. Hey, Jim Calafiore, how are you, sir? What are you all done with yours yet?
I got 3 more. Let me just move the light here so we can.
Yeah.
I did Angela.
Nice.
Nice.
Kind of hard to the proportion.
That's the
perspective with the screen.
That's the pre-lawsuit Angela with the Spawn earrings.
Oh, really? Okay. And then the
there it is.
I think it's Raphael.
That's great.
That's awesome.
The red. And then the one I just finished is Commissioner Gordon.
Nice.
Oh, that is.
Hey,
Wow.
yeah, nice.
Very Gordon-esque.
That's what I got. I'm working on Galactus now.
Galactus.
Is anybody else worried that Mike McCone is being swallowed by his couch?
Don't worry, Mike.
Everybody say hi to Banjo.
Oh,
Banjo.
hey, puppy.
Puppy.
Hi, Banjo.
Oh.
That's a good-looking dog there.
All right, I'm gonna get going too. I got my 5 done, and I threw in an extra couple spawns. And then
Great, Brian. Let's see.
good. So here are the extra couple spawns. I think I showed the other guys before. So
Yeah.
Meathead and another meatheady spawn. So there you go.
I love your
Those
spawns
are
because they
awesome.
always look like Todd.
You mean like Todd himself?
Like Todd, like
Yeah.
Todd's soul. Brian's
Yeah.
spawns look like Todd's soul.
I worked with the guy for long enough. There you go.
It's
All right,
in there,
guys.
man.
Thank you, guys. Great seeing you guys.
Take care,
care.
Brian.
Hi.
Great to see Brian tonight here. I want to go to Sean Forney. Sean, how's your coasters doing?
Got 3 so far.
Nice.
Yeah.
Got a couple more to work through yet. I got a Kitty Pryde and a John Constantine to do yet.
Nice.
John Constantine, one of the coolest. Let's see here. Let me
Those are
kind of
fun.
looking through
Sorry, Natasha.
the squares here. Panda Red, look at there. You got a good looking
Yes.
one.
I'm doing a Ghost Rider right now, kind of half submerged in fire, and I got my Deadpool done just a little while ago.
So sweet, dude. Those look great, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
So cool. Let's see. We have Miko. Miko, how's it going?
Hey, what's up?
I haven't. How's the progress on these things going for you, Miko?
Right now I'm doing the Miles Morales one. I haven't shown the just the finished Batman sketch.
Oh, look at that Batman there.
I'm vengeance.
Yes,
Beautiful.
yeah. Love the
That's
Batman.
great.
Rodney,
Hey,
how's
Hi.
yours doing, dude?
I am
Oh,
currently on my 3rd one. I've got Wildcat and Darth Maul here. So let's see. Here's Darth Maul
awesome.
Nice.
on my crazy fine line detail, and my Wildcat.
Love that
Threw
Wildcat.
some, thank you. Threw some color on that, and now I'm working on my Lego Venom.
That's awesome.
Golly, that is great. Just for someone to ask of a Lego a Lego character.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. I mean, the Lego, they have Lego video games of the Lego DC and the Lego Marvel, and we were talking about Hobbit earlier. They got Lego Hobbit. They got it all Lego. So very awesome, Rodney. Very awesome.
Thank you very much.
Christian Gossett, how's yours going with the God Count?
Let's see, Joker's done. Thanks again for the tip, everybody, about going behind the letters. Very nice. And then it's a DC kind of. I got Harley for somebody. They want an old Harley. I'm starting up a 3rd one.
Starting the 3rd one. Very cool. We're still here live on Comic Art Live's YouTube page. A lot of people are in the chat. They're so excited to see all the work that all the artists are doing here to help support the Hero Initiative and to give a lot of great stuff, a lot of good props to original art that you're going to get to see this weekend, a part of Comic Art Live. Bill Cox, of course, of comicartfans.com. Make sure you check out the website, check out the schedule, so you'll know when your favorite artist and favorite panels are going to be showing up. You know, we'll have Phil Hester. There's going to be a John Paul Leon tribute, Mike Perkins, Amanda Connor, Jimmy Pagliatti. It's going to be a lot of great stuff. James Herron. There's going to be a comic art claims sale, and we're also going to have Anthony Snyder. Also, Hilary Barta tomorrow. No, or is this Sunday with John Suntress? Yeah, Sunday.
Hey.
That's going to be a good one. 1 p.m. Eastern. John Suntress, one of our favorite guys around here. Tony Parker. Hey, we're going to see you, Tony, with John as well tomorrow. Awesome, dude. Katie Cook, of course. Katie, she's going to be here. She's going to be with Mark Walters, good moderator there, Mark Walters. And then there's going to be, of course, on Sunday night, the show recap with Bill Cox. And I talked to Bill earlier before this drink a draw, and he's very excited. But at the same time, when you put something together this big, it takes a lot out of you. So I know he's also going to be celebrating probably Sunday night with his own little drink, and he may draw us a couple things or two. Golly, y'all have got some amazing work going on here. Miko, we just saw Miko. Harvey, how are you doing, sir? You know, Miko. Yeah, Harvey, how about you, sir?
I'll change the camera. Okay. I was on.
Sure thing.
Yeah, that's it. So yeah, this is static.
Oh, nice.
Oh wow.
I kind of put the drink and draw in there.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. This doesn't have like
gorgeous.
And working with cable right now.
Oh, that's an awesome cable, man. So freaking cool.
Kind of do the tricks, like just line art and put some wash ink on it, like ink with more water, and you're gonna have like own Copic markers without anything. So yeah, it's very effective in a way, and I find it really interesting to draw characters that you never got to draw like ever. So it's really exciting. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, man. You have some amazing work, amazing talent, and golly, that's static and cable. Two other, like all these characters, you know, everyone's doing a character that was requested. Of course, all proceeds go to the Hero Initiative, but for me personally, to look at each and every one of these pieces y'all are doing, it always kind of brings back, you know, my memories of reading the characters, or, you know, the first time I saw the characters. And it's just freaking awesome. And then, of course, there may be characters I don't know about or whatnot that, hey, that character looks pretty cool. And then if you got those kick butt books, you know, like Tom has, you can go right to work to find your favorite DC or Marvel character. And that's Thomas Fowler fans, Thomas Fowler. And then, of course,
what's Tom Rainey up to?
Yeah, Tom Rainey.
Hello.
Tom, what are you up to?
Let's see. I think I showed the Mystique early on. Let me see. Where's my camera? There it is.
Oh, that's
wow.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, very nice.
Finished up Fin Fang Foom.
Oh,
wow. Fin Fang Foom is awesome.
Yeah, he's fun. And working on a Winter Soldier.
Oh, that's
Wow.
wow.
nice.
Oh, nice.
Having fun. Oh,
Dude, that's awesome.
and that's it.
Those look awesome. Tony Parker, how is yours going right now?
I'm on number 4 right now. I'm working on, and I've never drawn any of my characters before, so I'm freaking loving this. Because it's that like I've never heard of Iron Maiden from Thunder Agents before, which makes me bad. But so I'm working on that right now. Never drawn Razorback from Marvel.
Oh yeah.
Sweet.
And then I finish up. I'm your wonderful image book. Let me find it. Murder Falcon.
An awesome book.
Oh, it's amazing. And so it's just, again, wonderful opportunity. And then I pre-penciled everything in mine as well. And I've got a Greedo I've got to ink after the Iron Maiden. But no, I'm just having fun listening to the stories.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's another great thing, you know, when there's not a lot of cons going on out there. I mean, things are looking better, you know, people are getting vaccinated and all that great stuff. But when do you think some of you guys will be going back to the cons?
I'm doing Garden State Comic Fest on the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. It's my first one.
Awesome, Jim. Heck
See
yeah.
how it goes.
Yeah, golly. Are you excited to get back into the swing of things and see some of the fans again?
Oh, God, yeah. I mean, sick of my house. Jesus.
Yeah. It's like a lot of us have all been, it's like a house arrest or something. You know what I mean?
But now I'm just dealing with how am I going to deal with it?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, because I know it's going to be impossible for them to police.
Yeah.
There's going to be people who will go in with their masks on and take them off.
Oh, yeah.
And say it's their right.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not given right not to wear the mask. And how are they policing that? And they can't stand there.
If you're vaccinated, you'll be okay. You know.
Well, I am vaccinated. I wouldn't be doing this if I wasn't vaccinated.
I'm sure you are saying that you should. That, you know, it'll be on the heads of people who have not been or refuse to be vaccinated, whether or not they want to get sick.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they'll just
how am I dealing with? You know, you're not going to be able to really keep people 6 feet apart in front of the table if too many people come.
No, you're not.
And then what am I doing with the money? I've got the square card reader I can mount on the corner of the table.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
In terms of cash, you know, I mean, it's how paranoid we're so paranoid now, you know, and I don't know how I'm going to handle it all.
Yeah.
Purell. Just like the con.
Well, somebody said get a box and just have them drop money into the box and give them change, and then every night spray disinfectant into it. And I'm like, probably not a good idea to have money in a nice centralized box that somebody could run by and grab.
That's right.
Yeah.
It'll be
yeah.
Since it's a Purell, maybe it'll be a clean smash and grab.
Well,
it'll be a clean getaway.
This is
clean getaway, exactly.
This is before, way before COVID. This is at San Diego the one year. There was a guy in a costume. And it wasn't a big costume, but he was cosplaying. And he bought a print. And it was like $15. And he takes his money out of his pocket. And this guy had been sweating.
Oh,
no. And he handed me basically wet bills that I just put aside. And when I got back to the room, I put them between paper towels. But the kicker is that a half hour later, he came back for another print and gave me more wet money.
That's why you, sir, need to set up with your art rep. Because that's Paolo's problem.
What?
If anybody does
it's
anything
worth not
broke,
paying the 25% for having some wet cash you can put in your wallet and forget about, though, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And there's so much stuff on those bills that they don't have to be wet to be, you know, toxic. You know, you're dealing with that all the time. Con crud, that's where it comes from, right?
Oh yeah, somebody did a study of the most amount of bacteria on things, light switches, keyboards for computers, and money. Huge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well,
if somebody's reaching into their pocket, I don't know what's worse, wet money or hard cash.
Wet money.
Oh, man, that was a good one. God, I love it.
It's late enough, isn't it, guys? I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
It's drink and draw after hours.
Drink and draw.
I got a question here. This is just kind of a roundabout. Anyone can answer this. Ask if artists hate drawing Galactus headgear. How do y'all feel like Galactus' headgear when you have to draw it?
Yeah, there's a lot of detail. I've got my iPad in front of me for detail here for the reference.
Yeah, that looks good, Jim.
It's a nightmare trying to find consistent reference.
You know, my feeling is as long as you have the shape of the cylindrical head and those aerials that stick on either side, all the detail can be just different every time you draw it. I believe in the Jack Kirby approach. So as long as the silhouette's right, everything else you can make up as you go along.
That's
And if it's at a show and I'm
like
short
I said,
for time,
I'm
it's a
pulling
lot
it
of
down
silhouette.
and I'm showing off a commission that I just did.
Woo!
There's Mr. Galactus. Sorry, you're seeing yourselves reflected in the Mylar, and Mr. Surfer.
Thank you.
Nice.
Awesome. Did you say you were pulling a Dan Brereton?
Yeah.
What did you show off a commission?
The first drink and draw that I was a part of. Every 5 minutes, you were like pulling out this giant painting and go like, "No, I don't want to. Hey, look at this."
What? What a jerk I am.
Always talking. No, if it weren't for you, nobody would speak, Dan.
It's awkward silences that, people really want in a drink and draw.
Those get you. Well, what I love and what I love about Dan is Dan, when even if I start getting a little slower, I start getting memorized or mesmerized, if you will, Dan will speak up and kind of get a good conversation going. So Dan, I always appreciate you all as well, and just a good guy to hang with, man. Good guy to hang with. I was going to ask Walter a question. Tomorrow, or is it? I think it's tomorrow. The tribute for John Paul Leon. Walter, do you have any good John Paul Leon stories?
Well, the one I will say, John Paul got really good because he was incredibly talented, because he was a hard worker. I spent about 11 years, over a 20-year period teaching at the School of Visual Arts in New York. John Paul was one of the guys in my first class. I had a brilliant first class. The first year I taught, 92. I had all these guys that were phenomenal, and I thought, dang, I'm going to really like teaching here. And I never had a class like that again. I had some good guys. Mm-hmm. That year I had 5 or 6 guys who were just a house of fire. And John Paul was, I will say, I don't offend anybody who was in that class. Oops, I suddenly clicked my camera. I did something where I touched my mouse, and everybody has disappeared.
Uh-oh.
Now you've done it.
Where am I? Are you on speaker view?
I don't know what I'm on anymore. Now I'm a leader in the 2020 Gartner Magic Quadrant for Meeting Solutions, is what I'm getting. I have no idea what that is. It's something of Zoom, but it's not. Let me try educating Zoom. Sign up. No, I'm totally gone here. Host a meeting. Join a meeting. Let me try. Well, I gotta find a meeting ID. I'm going to bail and come back.
All right, Walter.
I don't know what's going on here. I'll be back shortly. I do have a John Paul story for you. Be right back.
Awesome. So while we wait,
there you are. There's
he's back.
All right.
Walter, welcome back.
I think what happens, I must have opened up another window in front of
the
shot.
Zoom.
So when I was teaching, what I would do is I would give weekly or bi-weekly assignments that you have to bring in. And they were, it was loony stuff. I had a very free-form class. Klaus Jansen also taught. Klaus was a real nuts and bolts guy. He had a syllabus. You learned how to do comics from the ground up. And I was like, yeah, okay, just here's your assignment, bring it in next week. And I would include stuff I was working on. At the time I was doing that, I was working on Robocop versus the Terminator that Frank Miller wrote. I drew it. And there's a great scene in it where there's a girl who's a heroine in the story. She's got a large gun, because back then everybody had large guns. And she runs into an Ed 209. And she dives under the Ed 209 as it's trying to fire at her. And she rolls under it and comes up, and it just tips itself over. And she hops over the side and blows it away. It's all on one page. Dude, and so my assignment, for example, was draw that page. I want you to just, do the choreography. Didn't have to look like Robocop or Ed 209, because back then, not so much web stuff, not so much reference, but do that. And that's what people would do. I'd have assignments like that every week or every 2 weeks. And you would have to do an overarching assignment for the 2 semesters, which is helping you creating a graphic novel. You wouldn't do the whole thing, but you'd do some of it. And along about October is what I remember of that year, for whatever year my first taught. John Paul came to me, and it turned out he had gotten a gig drawing static at Milestone. So he was drawing a monthly comic, which was 22 pages back then, pencils, and doing the cover, 23 pages, and carrying a full load of classwork.
Jeez.
God.
And he wondered if he might be able to use his static pages to fulfill my assignments. And I said, boy, absolutely, right now and from this moment on. Because I had kids who couldn't get 13 pages done in 2 semesters.
Yeah.
And John Paul was cranking out 23 pages, including the cover, and all the work he was doing for other classes. So, and I will say, the work he was doing on static, it was not as good as the work he was doing toward the end of his life, but it was pretty damn good. I still have Xeroxes of it stuck up in a closet somewhere.
Awesome.
Because what I would do is we put everybody's assignments up, and I'd tape them all to the wall, and then I'd go down and invent a lecture as on the spur of the moment. Because especially on assignments, if kids were doing them the same assignment, they were often making the same mistakes. So you could kind of begin to get a sense of what they were doing, and then launch into a chat about that. But John Paul was he was phenomenal. We would also, I had the last class of the day in that particular classroom. And so afterwards, sometimes some of the kids, John Paul included, would stick around afterwards, and we might shoot the breeze for an hour. Just about comics, about life, about whatever. And so we had a lot of conversations about comics and so how I did them, sort of how I reached solutions. Just you name it, we kind of covered the waterfront. So that was really, he became a really good friend, and an artist who was so brilliant, I couldn't even swipe from him. It was really annoying. I really wanted to swipe from him, but I just couldn't do it. So,
You want to break his hand?
What's that?
You didn't want to break his hand because he was.
Well, he was this great-looking guy. He was phenomenally talented. He was incredibly sweet, and I just thought, if I'm around this guy much longer, I'm just going to have to put him down. That's all it's going to have to happen. Somehow, it's just got to be. This got to be the end. But he worked so hard, and he thought so deeply about the work that it was really inspiring. Like I guess I can say this. I saw a promotion for it recently. I just did an Aquaman variant cover for DC, and I can't say I drew it like John Paul because that would be wrong. I did not draw it like John Paul, but I was inspired by his work on this cover. And I don't know if it'll go through or not because that's DC's. Sometimes does, sometimes doesn't. It's dedicated to John Paul at the bottom. They clean that out before it gets into print. But the cover itself was really a tribute to John Paul, and I wrote a short piece about him on my Facebook page after he died. And it was hard to write.
Yeah.
So it wasn't. It was like when Archie died. Archie Goodwin died because he'd been ill for a long time. Archie had as well, and so it wasn't a surprise, but it was a shock. And it was hard. It was tough. It was tough.
Yeah, I'm so sorry for those losses. I mean, being their friends become family, and it seems like y'all were family.
The other side of that, I'm old enough now. Mostly, I'm just grateful I knew him. I'm grateful I got to see his work. I'm grateful I would stop by conventions and chat with him or hang out with him. I'm grateful I got to know him in class. So I'm deeply sorry, deeply saddened he's gone. But you try to look at the other side of that, and I'm so grateful for the time that I got to spend with him and just got to see his work, just got to see what he did. It was really so marvelous.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's always a treat to see what your friends are working on and some of the cool creations they're putting together.
Annoying when they're better than you are, though.
Oh yeah,
that's when it's annoying.
That's when you get a little kind of, dang it, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm amazed I'm in this room at all. I hate all of you equally.
Walter, I see stuff that you've done that you'll do a commission here or a sketch here or there, and you'll put it up on Facebook. And I swear, man, I'm still that teenager that discovered Thor on the racks in 1983 or 84, every time I see something new where you just, it's, you know, I mean, I know that maybe you think your stuff is simple, but it's deceptive. It's simple in the way that Alex Toth's stuff could be termed simple, but at the same time, it's just so beautifully designed, and it's so clear from everything you draw that you just love what you do so much. And I just, you know, thanks. I just want to say thanks.
Well, you're quite welcome. I was very lucky to find something where I could get paid and don't have to work.
But you told me that you wanted to study dinosaurs when you were younger, and you became a comic book artist. I was like, you know, because I probably would never have heard of you as the dinosaur hunter. You know what I mean? I only know.
Probably not. I would have been a lousy dinosaur hunter. I
know one dinosaur
on that.
Yeah.
I was doing
I did have I'm sorry. What's that, Jim?
I was doing a ROM commission recently, and I had to look up, and there was a ROM cover you did, and I was wondering if you remember everything you've done like that.
I don't remember. I did a ROM drawing. I don't know if it was a cover. Or maybe
it's a cover. Yeah, it's got like ring rates, whatever. Not ring rates. Rates.
Dire
rates.
Dire rates.
They're sort of around them, and he's like firing off. And I just wondered how much you do.
How many
you remember?
He's blowing the guts out of one dire wraith, and there's no one behind him that's about to grab him.
Yeah.
That wasn't the cover. That was a charity piece to raise money.
Really?
Possibly for Bill Mantlo.
Oh, all
I
right.
remember for sure now. I did design the dire wraiths, that version for Marvel. The original dire wraiths in that comic looked like kind of amorphous clouds that were about as threatening as a Q-tip, maybe a little less. The Q-tips you could poke somebody with. And so at some point, I don't remember if it was the editor of the book now or Jim Shooter got in touch with me and asked me if I could redesign the dire wraiths and do something with them. And so I did redesign them. And I have to say that Bill Sienkiewicz drew a couple of them, and they looked, I don't know if for covers or whatever, they looked really creepy when Bill drew them. I have to say, I was very happy about that. Oh, these things do look pretty ghastly. So, but I did stuff like that back then as well. I don't remember every drawing I've done. You know, when I was younger, I was amazed. I talked to some artist, you know, Joe Kubert or whoever it would be, and I said, wow, I love this cover of, you know, whatever comic book it was. And you'd get a kind of a, did I do that? And I'd think, how is that possible? How could you possibly not remember that? And now I've been around long enough that I'm thinking, I don't remember every cover I did. I remember a lot of them. If somebody shows it to me, I can pretty much tell you, oh yeah, it's one of mine. But occasionally I get somebody to ask about something, I go, yeah, I don't remember doing that one. But doesn't mean I didn't do it. I just have a lot there in the background.
Yeah, and the more I guess you do, and the more work you do over the years, sometimes it's like, hey, you know, it's like you'll get reminded, like Jim reminded you, hey, it was a cover of ROM, you know, and then you're like, all right, okay, all right, you know, it's all coming back.
I mean, I don't remember every page by a long shot.
Mm-hmm.
There are some pages I remember, and mostly if I look at older pages, I mean, I know it's my page. I do not remember sitting at the board as I was drawing it. You know, my hand going over the paper and whatever. I just don't remember that stuff. It just partly once it's done, it's in the rearview mirror, and I'm ready to go do something else, whatever the next job I'm going to do is. And some jobs, I did one actually. I do remember, which is pretty funny. What was the company in Florida? CrossGen. And they had a book, a samurai book that Bart Sears drew.
The Path.
And Ron. Who wrote that? Ron
Mars.
Ron Mars. That's right. Ron Mars wrote it. And they asked me if I would do I think the 5th issue as a fill-in to help out in deadlines. And Ron had written it, so it was a solo story. And the part of the deal with that book was that there was a Viking warrior who had ended up in samurai Japan. And he's a buddy of the hero. And so that one issue was meant to be an origin story for that character. How did this guy get from the Viking kingdoms of Scandinavia over to Japan? And so I drew it, and I decided, so one of the things I kind of like to do, I try to teach my class. If you have a question, is one of my several rules in my class. If you got a question about your story, the answer is always going to be whatever makes your story better. If it makes your story the same, it's not going to matter so much. If it makes it worse, don't do it. Think of something else, make your story better. And so one of the things I tried, not if it made it better or not, but I'm a big fan of old artwork. And by old artwork, I mean like medieval artwork and stuff like that, iconography and the way it looks. And there's a famous tapestry called the Bayou Tapestry. Mm-hmm. And the Bayou Tapestry was done by, or commissioned probably by William the Conqueror, who conquered England in 1066. And this is a tapestry that's 200 feet long and celebrates his victory. And really, it's a comic strip. It's picture after picture in sequence with Latin inscriptions here and there, very short ones, showing the development of the conflict between William and Harold and how that all worked out. And I really like it. So when I drew this comic, the comic has about a 4 or 5 page introduction, and then it's got Wolf, I think his name was Wolf, telling the story. And then at the end, there's about 4 or 5 pages where you come out of the story. So they don't have any Viking artwork. Nothing's really survived. Little, post holes and carved runes and things like that. But the Viking artwork per se, whatever they had, isn't really around. I mean, the jewelry, the jewelry and gems and metal work and stuff, that is, but figurative work isn't. Not that I know of anyway. So I took the Bayou Tapestry, which the Normans were descendants of the Vikings, a couple of generations removed, and the Bayou Tapestry has dragon ships in it that are sailing to England to invade. So I took that to my Viking text visually, and Wolf's story is all drawn in the style of the Bayou Tapestry. And because CrossGen, they did all their ads at the end of the book, which meant they were all, after the first page, it's all double page spreads. And then at the end, it's a single page again. So when I did the Bayou Tapestry stuff, I took the double page spread, I divided it into 3 tiers, and I told the story all the way across each of the spreads in 3 layers and went to the next layer. Did the whole thing that way. And then came out of it again at the end when it went back to being regular people. And loved doing it. It was really fun to work out that stuff. And apparently, the 2 responses I got that I loved, one was from one of the production guys who, when I turned it in and sent mail down to Florida, said, "Holy crap, he's doing the Bayou Tapestry."
Wow.
Which I thought was awesome.
Yeah.
I thought that was great. And the other thing I loved was I got a review on the web, and the review said, "Jesus, Walt Simonson's stuff has just gone to hell. I don't know what's happened to his drawing, but it's just become awful." And I thought that was hysterical. So,
like when Bill Sienkiewicz did the Elektra Assassin book with Frank Miller, he painted that entire comic, and there was a letter that came in that said, "My little sister can draw better than Bill Sienkiewicz."
And I'm sure she could.
And she probably got hired.
Oh, man. Well, I'm going to have to disappear.
All right.
So
See you, Walt.
If there are any more questions, I can answer something fast. Otherwise, I'm out of here.
Take care, man.
Listen,
Great to
thank
see
you
you.
all for coming.
Take care.
I am in advertising. I am on the board of Hero Initiative. So all the money you guys are helping to raise, I'm going to help spend. I'm going to do my best to spend it, and I will not spend it on me. I can promise you that. So thank you all for showing up. Thank you all for being
Thanks, Walt.
Take care, Walter. Have a great
Thank you, Walter. Good night, Walt.
Take care, guys.
Have a good one.
Good night.
Honor, Walt.
Good night, Uncle Walt.
Walter Simonson, one of the best, right, Dan?
Oh, yeah. Walter has left the building.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
As if we could ever get tired of his stories. Ever.
I know. This is so cool. Well, we're going to be starting to wrap it up here. We've been going strong. We're going to kind of go around and see everyone's current drawings they're on. Some drawings they may still be working on, but just know they're going to be coming to your homes very soon. and it's going to be great. Let's go to Jim Calafiore. Jim, how's
come
it
to
going?
me last. I'm just filling in blacks.
All right, Jim, we will. How about you, Harvey?
Cable, almost done. Maybe in a couple of minutes, but yeah, it's.
Well, Harvey,
man,
also.
Those story, man, will really like inspire your life.
Oh yeah,
Whole week, your whole year. So that's like really amazing to hear everybody's stories and stuff. Yeah, but yeah, this is my cable, and yeah, it's done. So
Beautiful,
I
man.
have,
That's
like,
great.
2 coaster here in a one paper. So yeah, I need to put the drink and draw, so it will be official.
I want to redo mine now.
Who's torturing a child?
Yeah.
Oh, those are my kids, and we're having like a small pool outside because of the quarantine. They don't have they cannot play anywhere, and in the Philippines it's very crazy, man. The way the virus hit us, like we are like one in whole Philippines. Like, we have like 300 like every, and I remember I'm doing biking, buy some goods and stuff, and I remember it's like really like Walking Dead. Like you can see the soldier, like the armor car, biking alone on the street. So that was really like easy last year, and I go to like a lot of challenges to really like run, buy the medicine and food and stuff. So yeah, as we go along, we kind of put the pool. It's for the kids to boost their psychological thinking that like there's Walking Dead outside. They think like there's like a zombie apocalypse outside. Like they kind of watch on the gate. like, oh, what happened?
You wasted.
And when you name son Zod, like it's the villain, and you name the son Wayne, and there's crazy. You have like a villain and a hero fighting every day, and like and outside so. Yeah, I kind of learned the best way. Like, it's kids, and stories like this will like never stop to inspire all the artists around the world. And thank you so much,
Harvey.
I mean, I'm so grateful. My hand is sweating all the time. I want to know what they're doing. Jim, Tom, Rani, man, like my head's gonna.
Harvey, we're so happy you're here tonight. It was a lot of fun having you here. Tom Rainey, how about you, sir? Any closing thoughts and good coaster action here?
Finishing up a Jaro.
That's for a buddy of mine.
Who?
Who's Jaro? And son.
Okay.
That is good. Jaro.
The silly ones are always fun. Yeah, I'm glad that you guys keep doing these. Yeah, I know it goes and helps a lot of people that really need it. So, always happy to be able to lend a hand.
Thank you so much, Tom. It's great seeing you tonight. Rodney Fike, how about you, sir? I see some snake eyes.
Yeah. On my fourth one, snake eyes. I got the Venom.
That's
Lego Venom.
nice.
So, kind of like my shade. That was kind of cool. That was kind of fun to do. So yeah, I'm 4 cards in. I've got 7 cards.
Oh wow! All right. I mean, okay.
But I've got it's like artist choice.
Oh, okay.
And I got like 5 choices, and then I guess it said Lego Venom or Lego Batman. And I've got 7 cards, so I'm just
Thanks so much for running me. Like every little bit helps. All those extra cards, of course, they'll be going up. On heroinitiative.org/merchandise, where you can get a lot of awesome stuff over there, and possibly you'll get lucky to get a Rodney Fike coaster.
Awesome. Thanks, guys, for having me. It's a blast.
Thank you.
I got a couple choices on one. My favorite is Plastic Man or Groundskeeper Willie. I like that.
And Willie, he was a classic. He from The Simpsons. Yeah.
I almost did them both together, but I ended up doing Plastic Man. So.
Well, how about some last minute shout outs from you, Surly Hack, Hillary Barta.
Oh, I think you've already seen the stuff I've done, but I'll put them up again if you want.
One more time.
Okay, here you go. Here's a couple guys right here.
Love those.
Nice.
Great.
Oh,
That is awesome.
Use these guys, Splash Brannigan, and giant-sized man thing.
Wow, that man. Those
Awesome.
are great.
Oh, it's so cool.
And of
Awesome.
course, my beast. I'm all man, but I'm a my beast.
My Beast is classic.
I grew up on Herb Trimpe Hulk, and that's where he comes from. He was great.
You know,
Yeah.
I have a ton of Herb Trimpe Hulks, but I don't have those issues for some reason. I feel like I got to go find him now because he's great. He's got two faces. Of course, I think that of course that has to be an argument between the two faces. But,
Oh, Hillary, thank you so much for joining us tonight for the drink
my
and
pleasure.
draw.
Anything for the Hero Initiative, and it was great to see all you guys. I know we didn't get to talk a lot, but and to hear Walt's stories, man.
Oh, yeah.
That was great.
Those are good, man. Tom Fowler, my friend. Tom, how's it been? How's the night?
I just finished.
Yes.
All 5 of my guys. And since we're talking about, just before I show you that, since we're talking about options that people have given us, one of my regulars came on and gave me a list that is so, like, illustrative of my relationship with him when he commissions me to do stuff. So, Shade the Changing Man, Ditko, Diablo from Marvel, Eclipso, Dr. Druid, Merman from He-Man, or a Minotaur. Every time he contacts me, thank you, Brett. Every time he contacts me for a commission, I always get a list like this. But anyway, this is for somebody else. There's
Nice.
And for my friend Brett, there is Shade the Changing Man.
It's fantastic.
Beautiful.
Very Dicko. Regards, Dicko.
Yeah, everybody did go. Go.
Ditko's fun, yeah.
I love some Steve Ditko. Tom, thank you so much for being here tonight for the drink and draw.
Thank you for having me. I'm sorry I jumped on board late, but I'm always happy. I'm always here. I love doing these. I love actually hanging out with other people that do what I do, because there aren't a lot of them in Ottawa. So it's nice to actually be able to hang out with people the way I might do, 2 or 3 times a year when conventions are happening. So this is great. I love this cause. I will always be here for it. So
Thanks.
I'm always happy to participate. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Tom. Jay.
Yes. Hello. Just as a last roundup, I finished the Deadpool and the Ghost Rider one. I'm finishing out the blacks on a Batgirl right now, and I gotta say, from my perspective, this has been an incredible experience. I know I haven't talked very much, being the one guy here who has 0 experience in any of these fields, but it's incredible to be here and listen to the stories of the industry veterans that I grew up idolizing. So I really want to kind of echo what Harvey said, and this was such an amazing opportunity and such an amazing honor to be able to hear you all and hear your stories.
Well, Jay, we love you being here, my friend. On TikTok, of course, Panda Red. You're a sensation, heard around the nation. That's what I told you the one time you were on with the Comic Cord. And we're always excited to see what you do next and what the future holds for you, Jay. So we're real excited for you.
Thank you very much. This has been an amazing opportunity. It's been a ton of fun.
Thank you. Michael McCone, my friend. How was your evening, and how's your the drawings here?
Well, I think I drank a little too much port.
Oh yes. My kind of guy.
I'm kind of sleepy.
Sorry.
Some pizza, but I'm trying to pull it out until this is finished, because that would just be rude. But yeah, I finished all my coasters. I think I'm gonna have to redraw one because I put my glass on on the King in Black. Which
Yeah.
It just lends authenticity.
That's what coasters are for.
Exactly. Yeah. You're breaking it in. You're breaking.
So I did a Ravager from Teen Titans. I did the robot guy from Doom Patrol.
Yeah.
Cliff.
King. I'm not going to show King in Black because it's water stand. Iron Man, and some guy from G.I. Joe, one of the bad guys.
Yeah, Destro.
Destro.
Yeah, one demerit for my nerd badge there.
That's all right.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been fun. When I work, I listen to audiobooks. So listening to Walt's stories while I draw is kind of a vacation from home. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Well, thank you so much, Michael. Thanks for being here tonight.
You're very
Hey,
welcome.
Surly Hack, did you have something to say?
Oh no, I was waving.
Oh, waving at Mike. Yeah, heck yeah. All right. Well, Surly, always good. Tony Parker.
Doing signs.
Tony, do you have any final thoughts and shout outs? And do we have Greedo there?
Yep, we've got Greedo in a non-shot form. I want to give him more of a badass look, and
I love
the
it.
Greedo we know him to be. And
Yeah.
then finished up the Iron Maiden right there. It was a lot of fun, and again, I love doing these things. I usually don't go to bars, and so therefore me to come here and hang out like this is a wonderful opportunity, and especially to help out the Hero Initiative whenever I can is a wonderful thing to do. So
That's so awesome, Tony. We're so appreciative to have you here tonight. I want to go to Jim. Back to Jim real quick. Jim.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts? Did you get him? Oh, look at there! There it is.
There's a Galactus.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
It could be a little hard to see, but there's a reverse silhouette of Surfer on his board.
Oh, that is there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
Silver Surfer. And I'm out. So I have to go.
Yeah, that's
but,
awesome, Jim.
as usual, this is great. I do it every time. So thanks for having me.
Jim, thank you so much for being here.
Have a good night.
Good night, Jim.
Good to see you again.
Good, Jim.
Miko, I want to go to Miko and I want to check out this awesome Miles. Of course, he's got his Batman rocking and rolling. Miko, how are you doing?
Yeah.
Oh,
It was great. Thank you for being here. I'm to always help him do this kind of stuff and help out. So
Yeah.
I did an extra mile to make it a bit prettier.
Oh, it looks awesome. Shoot right now. It looks awesome. Yeah.
Really good.
Well, thank
Yeah,
you,
so,
Miko.
Thanks again for inviting me, guys. And
Yeah, Miko, it was
and
a lot
next
of fun.
Something.
Yeah. Sean Forney with the Constantine. Sean, any last final shout outs?
I just want to, say that I'm always happy to help out. Glad to be here. Like everybody has reiterated, it was awesome to sit and listen to Walt's stories and whatnot. I mean, that's, just the added extra sauce to sit here and get to hear that kind of stuff while we're doing this to help out, and always happy to do it.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much, Sean. Thank you so much. Kaijo, my friend. How about you? And I see a nice one here.
Oops, sorry.
That's all right.
From time to time.
That's all right, Kaijo. We're happy to have you here tonight, Kaijo. We know the dogs are loud. They're proud because Dad is doing some sweet art for them. Well, maybe not for them, but for some other folks.
They're hungry.
Yeah, they're
hungry.
Kaijo, my friend, thank you so much.
Okay,
oh, look at the black cat. Yeah, show us the black cat.
Here's the black
Nice.
cat.
Oh,
Sorry. The my phone fell down.
Sorry.
Okay. Okay, here's the black cat.
It's awesome.
Okay, and then here's the Batman. Here's converter.
That is so Michael Keaton.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And then no one asked for this, but I'll throw it in for the charity.
Sure.
Wow.
Chicken Wakanda forever right there.
Yes.
That is awesome.
Nice.
Thank you. And then this other one is smoking.
Oh yeah.
Right here.
Logan
very
hitting up a good old stogie there. Heck yeah.
I'll just throw it in if anyone's interested for the charity. And then before I maybe I'll finish this also. It's Invincible, sketch of Invincible, just in case
it's awesome.
Anyone's interested. Also for the charity. And guys, thank you for having me. I think I have to leave because these guys are gonna kill me, gonna eat me.
Those dogs, yeah. All right, man. Kaijo, thank you so much.
Thank you. This is very fun. I would love to do it again if there's an opportunity to do so.
Oh, well, God, we're going to keep that in mind, and Jim will let you know because we always need more artists, and we need them on the show. There he is. That's good to see the face, my friend. Heck yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Good day. Stay healthy, guys. Thank you.
You too. Take care.
All right, Christian. How about you? How's it going? I see we've got a really cool beast there.
Yes, old beast.
Oh, of course, the Joker as well coming up.
And I got one more to do. I got to do a Jessica Jones and a New Hope Leia.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Those on my own time. And thanks again. It's always great to see everybody. And Chad and Legend, I know you guys. It was really great to meet you guys at the beginning of the pandemic. And
oh yeah.
And you guys have been doing such a great job. Like right away, man. You just took the pandemic by the horns and were like, "This ain't gonna stop us. We're gonna do it online and work it all out and
get the virtual con scene up and running so fans can interact." You know.
Absolutely, and it's been great ever since then. It's just been really great watching you succeed show after show, and thank you for doing what you are to keep the community alive and always bring so much enthusiasm and genuineness to it. So, just you guys are the best.
Thank you so much, Christian. Thank you.
Pleasure, guys. And always great hanging with you, and I'll see you next time.
All right, man, Christian. Thank you so much. And Dan Brereton, I saved you for last. One of Jim McLaughlin's favorites of all time. Shoot, one of my favorites. Me and you, we've been in all these. I think I've hosted 3 drinking draws. I know John Suntress has hosted some too, but Dan, you've been with me every step of the way, and I appreciate you.
Hey, man, it's funny because when I first did I think that I don't know if you hosted the first one I did or not. Was it? I mean, but
I don't know. Like maybe not. I don't remember.
Who's this guy calling himself the Great Legend? I was like, I'll just be quiet about that. I won't say anything. But you know what? I'm so down with it now. It's not even funny.
I appreciate you. I used to have faster thumbs about 10 years ago on the video games, and that's just a marker that I always
have.
That's
awesome. Well, I think it's awesome.
I appreciate you.
So I did a man thing just on the steam of all these.
Nice.
And,
I love those.
I did wow. I started her and then I finished her. I did a little white paint, and then what you're seeing in there is a little bit of gesso, not gesso, but a clear gel I put over the top to kind of protect them.
That's what I noticed. A nice coating to it, nice sheen, shine.
They're still drying, but these are fun to do. It's fun to take a little break, and my Ben Grimm didn't suck this time, so that's good.
Your Ben Grimm is awesome.
But I draw the Bride Frankenstein a lot, so he's become one of my kind of go-tos.
One of the best James Well movies, probably. I think his best one. You know, The Bride of Frankenstein.
I always thought it would have been fun to kind of see what Bernie. I don't know if Bernie Wrightson ever drew The Bride of Frankenstein in an illustration, other than like when you see her on the laboratory table, and he's trying to figure out whether or not he wants to finish her in the illustration. And I always wondered if he ever did, because I'm curious to see what his version of The Bride of Frankenstein would look like, so I'm gonna have to look into that. But yeah, I'm a big fan of that stuff. Hey, listen, you guys, this is always fun. I am so a Hero Initiative guy. I just know ever since the first sketch cover 100 project that was Spider-Man, and I did a Venom drawing that I spent about 30 minutes on because I didn't really understand what I was being asked to do. And then they send you the book, and you get a piece of paper that says, here's all the stuff that we have in the book. Here are all the artists, and here's what their pieces went for in the auction. And I saw what mine went for in the auction, and I felt bad. I was like, wow, I could have really raised more money for this charity if I had just kind of had my head in the game. And so from then on, I always try and put my best foot forward, and I always volunteer. And when I'm asked, I always say yes, because even though we have, healthcare is not the issue that it was for freelancers in the past years. There's so many other things that Hero Initiative does to help comic book creators in need, and I think it's an essential charity that deserves everyone's attention who loves comics. It's a wonderful way to give back, especially to the elder statesmen who are getting on in years. And to be honest, the numbers are dwindling, and we have to treasure these folks and take care of them. And I'm trying in a very small way to do just a little bit, along with Jim, and help Jim, because really this is Jim's baby.
Yeah.
We're all Jim's.
Mm-hmm. Well, I appreciate all of you so much. Dan, thank you so much for your testimonial about the Hero Initiative and all the great things they do to help our comic book creators from yesteryear, today, and tomorrow. There's no stopping the Hero Initiative and all the support that it has, but it always needs more support. So fans, remember heroinitiative.org. Also heroinitiative.org/merchandise, where you can get some really cool stuff like the Project 100 books. Of course, me being a Fantastic Four fan, I got the Project 100 hardcover, of course, for that Fantastic Four. And then also some of those talent talks you can be a part of, where you get to have a private meet and greet with some of your favorite creators. So stay tuned, always on heroinitiative.org for more details. Also, special shout out again to Bill Cox. Comic Art Live is happening, fans. This was the kickoff show tonight, but Saturday, 1:30 p.m. Eastern, you're going to see Bill Cox kick it off in style for Saturday and Sunday for Comic Art Live. So make sure comicartlive.com for the schedule, and go to Comic Art Fans and see all the original art that can be yours. And I guess we are out of time. Chad's behind the scenes telling us it's time to go. It's the end of the show. But for Comic Art Live, the Hero Initiative, and all these awesome artists tonight, this is the Great Legend saying peace out. God bless. Bye, everybody.
Good night.
Bye, guys.
Good night.
Y'all take care. I'll see y'all.
Take
We're
care.
going to be doing this again real soon because